don't have that. Like, we're going to revert back and look at the 2020, not 2012. Gosh, 2020.
Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back, Twitch. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Presidential election. So Virginia went to Joe Biden by 10.1%. That's going to be a likely characterization for Kamala Harris. Iowa went to Donald Trump by nearly the same amount. Going to be a likely characterization for Donald Trump. Nebraska's second went to the Democrats by 7 points, keeping that characterization. And Colorado went to Biden by 14 points statewide, going to keep that likely blue characterization. So beyond that, Donald Trump at 131 electoral votes, Kamala Harris at 204. Everything is going to come down to these battleground states. And luckily for us, we have data points in all of the remaining yellow states. And so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just get rid of this, candidate here, this in theory candidate, and allow us and bring us back to 203 toss-up electoral votes, and pretty much go state by state in analyzing and understanding the current state of the race.
Again, Lori Panikowski, you're coping and seething. You're coping and seething, right? You're like grasping on to 8 years ago and being like, I remember when Hillary was ahead in the polls. Guess what? Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Guess also what? Winning the popular vote isn't what selects a president. It's winning the electoral vote. So yes, I think 2 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton than voted for Donald Trump. But because of her historical weakness as a candidate, she managed to be one of the only candidates that could manage losing to a reality TV buffoon like Donald Trump, and he did win the Electoral College. Again, nothing here is set in stone, not even like the electoral vote, right? Let alone the Electoral College vote. However, Trump was winning, right? And I didn't see you assholes questioning that. I didn't see you assholes out here being like, oh, I don't know. I mean, like, Trump is up in these polls, but I don't know if it's really, remember 2016? Maybe Trump is not really up. Maybe it's not real. You have a very different reaction to polls depending on who it says is winning, right? And no, the polls weren't wrong. The predictions were wrong, right? If you went to the New York Times, you would have seen them saying 90% chance, 93% chance, 95, some ridiculous chance that Hillary Clinton's going to win, right? If you went to 538 and Nate Silver, though, you saw the true odds, which was 66% chance of a Hillary Clinton win. And indeed, a 66% chance also means a 33% chance that it doesn't happen. We had a little bit of a black swan event, a combination of a Democratic candidate who took states like Wisconsin for granted and assumed that voters in Wisconsin would choose her over Trump, despite the fact that she was offering them precious little, despite the fact that she didn't even visit the state. But yeah, I wouldn't use that to cope and seethe with. I would not use 2016. Yeah, it'll be fine, everybody. Meme magic. Let's get those Pepes in chat. Let's get some more meme magic like 2016. Can we bring it back?
And why the polling numbers might be showing Democrats or Republicans doing quite well in certain regions of the country. What we're going to start off with are some of the states that are a little bit less competitive, and that way we can spend our time talking about the 4-7, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and spend less time talking about states that, sure, in theory, are going to be competitive, and we'll see some amounts of money and time spent in the races, but aren't going to be the most important factors in this election. So to kick us off, we are going to start off in the top of the United States with Maine at large here. Maine at large is surprisingly has been polled, but also was competitive back in 2016.
Okay, so like I told you before, Maine's an interesting state, right? Actually more interesting than Nebraska even, right? You got two states that are like broken up, and they're broken up because there's two different districts in Maine. Maine's first district down south, Maine's second district up north, and they also have an at large. So the overall vote in Maine...
up here, but now there are freaking communist invading radicals.
The overall vote in Maine counts for 2 electoral college votes, right? The vote in the first district in the north, which will likely go Republican, counts for 1. The vote in the second district in the south which will likely go Democratic counts for 1 as well. So yeah, interesting.
Very good House race to watch there in Maine's 2nd District. And so it did get a poll of Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, which actually had some pretty interesting results. Maine at large went to Kamala Harris by roughly 9 points, Maine's 1st District by 20 points plus. But Maine's 2nd District, on average here, has Donald Trump ahead by just 3 points. Now, to set the stage, Maine's 2nd District back in 2020 went to Donald Trump by nearly 10 points. In 2016, it was over 10 points. And so to see this reduction here, I think sort of speaks to what we might see exhibited across some of these battleground states. Now, granted, Donald Trump has made improvements in some of these states relative to 2020. In some of these battleground states, Donald Trump will, in fact, be performing better based on what the averages show in the battlegrounds. But that makes sense. Some states have moved away from Kamala Harris, and some states were more invested in by Biden and his campaign in 2020 compared to what they are expecting to invest in and have invested in this cycle. So, with 190 remaining toss-up electoral votes, let's continue to some states that aren't as competitive but have battleground state polls. The next state that comes to mind is the state of Ohio. Now, its counterpart, Iowa, which they voted together in 2004, 2008, 2012, and 2016, and 2020, will very well do it again in 2024, with Donald Trump taking an advantage of 9.5%. Now, I will caution this. If you guys are as terminally online as me, you will know that there is an internal poll that was talked about in the New York Times and on election Twitter, an internal poll, and a few internal polls, rather, that have been conducted by Republicans, thus the term internal, Republican pollsters, that show Donald Trump below 50% in Ohio. Now, that isn't to say that Kamala Harris...
That's wild.
...in Ohio, and all the public-facing polls show him ahead by 9.5% on average, but I think it might show us that if any of these numbers leak or any of the public polls find similar results over the next coming weeks, that Ohio might be more competitive than we think. But
somebody asked me about this on Twitter, and I was like, don't count on Ohio. They were like, what about Ohio? Ohio could swing. And I'm like, please don't count. Don't think that you're going to see that. Like, right, that's very unlikely. Ohio's been trending, heavily red since, I don't know, what, Obama? I don't know. It's either Obama or since, trying to remember the last time that Ohio went blue.
I don't think it's a worthwhile investment for the Kamala Harris campaign. Just something to think about when we're looking at that state. So it brings Donald Trump to a 9.5% in Ohio, brings him up to 149 electoral votes. Let's continue across the map here. Texas might surprise some of you in that it has Donald Trump ahead on average by 7 points against Kamala Harris. That's a pretty strong result for the former president, given that he won the state by 5.6%. But back in 2020, with the excess of money that Democrats had, they actually seemed to make a play in theory for Texas, not to win it tremendously, but they certainly did spend some money on advertisements and focused on the state in a way that was quite surprising. They didn't go all in, and many Democrats had hoped they would, given that the Rust Belt seemed to have been locking up, but the Biden campaign had stayed the course. They knew it would be smart to focus on Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. They even invested in Ohio. They invested in Iowa. But now that the campaign is more focused and narrow-lensed into 7 battleground states rather than 13, Texas has made the axe.
Are we back? We're back.
A slight improvement of his 2020 margin.
We're back.
That can be for a lack of trying from the Democratic side. Another state, though, that shares a similar margin is the state of Minnesota, that shows Kamala Harris with an average 7-point advantage. Now, with Tim Walz on the ticket, I think this increases. I think he's the governor who has a high approval rating, won in 2022, did very well even in 2018, was a Trump...
Again, chat, massive apologies about that. We had a little outage in terms of the full screen chat in YouTube. You might have also seen us go down temporarily on the short stream and on Twitch, but yeah, because of the way that my restreaming software works, it just it stayed down for a little while on YouTube until I put it back. Oh my God, Omega Star, thank you. We were all in the same boat for there. Yeah. Thank you for the 100 bits. And yeah, like I was saying, that puts us up to 46 on the dono goal. I do want to finish watching this video with you since I started it. We'll get to the Joe Rogan content after that. I'm going to have to change the... Anyway, chat, I'll figure it out. It's all for me to worry about. But again, we're 46% of the way to the dono goal. If we hit 100%, you'll unlock extra content. Now, you were voting on the other stream, and let me see. Hopefully that's still up. It is indeed. No, that's the wrong stream. This one. That one? No. This one? No, it's this one. Oh my God, chat. I'm clicking around here. Let's see. Hopefully it's still telling me. It's not doing it, chat. It's not doing it. Anyway. Bosch Road Rage on bikers was winning. I can't tell you by how much. I hate that the fucking stream went down and it caused us to lose that poll. Should I put up a new poll? Yeah, probably so. Let's run this again. I'll put up a new poll.
District congressman, Republican district congressman. And so Tim Walz added to Minnesota, I think really will help the Kamala Harris ticket, bringing her to well above 7% in Minnesota, but that runs roughly even with where Biden was back in 2020, which is a good sign for this election, I should say. Now, that brings Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to 217 electoral votes. Now let's move over to another big state, the state of Florida. From Texas to Florida, they share a characterization, and that is a likely red victory, with Donald Trump narrowly ahead by 5.1, 5.2% on average. A pretty strong showing for Donald Trump, but not as strong as it was in 2022 by a long shot. In 2022, Republicans won here by 20 points statewide. Donald Trump being ahead by 5 is an indicator that Florida is improving for Republicans and that it's becoming more of a Republican safe haven, Republican advantage state, potentially
Izzy
equivalent to the
Sanchi,
Democratic Party's
super
California,
chatted
but again,
$5.
California
Finally can give a dono.
Thank you, Izzy Sanchez. Or Izzy Sanchi as the
Because it was so peaceful.
as the voice is calling you.
Freaking communist.
Communist invading radicals.
California is Harris plus 25, 30. Florida is Trump plus 5. So very, very different things. But in terms of overall electoral capacity, Florida is a very massive state. Democrats invested over $100 million to win the state back in 2016.
That puts us up to 51%. We're 49% from hitting the dono goal.
DeSantis and the Republicans across the state have demolished the Democratic Party, not only in elections, but in voter registration, and enthusiasm. And so in 2024, while Kamala Harris has rebounded that enthusiasm and excitement for Democrats, Donald Trump's victories in 2016 and 2020 make Obama's victories in Florida look like child's play. What we saw in 2022 made Trump's victories look like child's play. And so in 2024, I'm not shocked at all that Republicans have a 5-point lead in Florida. Contrary to what some people might think about the state, it's still very much Republican territory. And so that narrows us down to 102 toss-up electoral votes. I want to get over to New Mexico because it also shares a 7-point characterization, which is a bit of a reduction for Kamala Harris. I think maybe this can speak to the fact that since 2020, we've seen some levels of reduced support amongst minority voters, specifically Latino voters, and specifically on the issue of immigration and the southern border. That is where the Biden-Harris administration polls the weakest. Biden polled the weakest. Harris polls the weakest. That issue is really kryptonite for the Democratic Party. Where would it matter the most? In battleground border states. New Mexico included. A narrowing up to 7 points means that maybe Democrats need to consider some level of, entrance, or maybe holding a rally or two in the state, or doing some level of advertisement spending. But right now, New Mexico is still a likely blue state, so it's a 3-point reduction. But on the overall net, Kamala Harris does come out ahead in some of these other battleground states. So very contrasting opinions here. And again, polls are just snapshots in time. They're not always going to
Izzy Sanchez says he's wrong because I live in New Mexico.
indicators of what might happen in November, but it's interesting to watch nonetheless. So narrowing down to our 97 electoral votes, let's get New Hampshire out of the way. Then we're actually down to our 7 core battleground states.
Izzy says immigration is not even discussed here.
New Hampshire is Kamala Harris.
Not even a discussion.
Biden won this state by 7, a 1-point difference here, but largely running even in some of these states like Minnesota, with Joe Biden's margin of victory. So New Hampshire, likely blue, brings her to 226. Donald Trump still at 219. So here we are. 93 remaining toss-up electoral votes. And again, we have heard constantly that Kamala Harris has done quite well in many of these battleground polls, and that is the reality we are in right now. If I was to take a look at the polls of Biden versus Trump back right before he dropped out of the race, how even on the day that he dropped out of the race, he would be losing all of these battleground states that are currently characterized as toss-up. I mean, I kid you not. He would be down in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Georgia, in Arizona, in Nevada, and it would be 312 to 226. In fact, that was my map in my last election prediction of Joe Biden versus Donald Trump on the day right before he dropped out, about 2 weeks before Joe Biden departed the race. This was my election prediction. And I'm not here to say that I was just following the polls. In fact, they slipped a little bit further afterward.
U.S. Ukdik, which is, I'm sure, how you want your name pronounced, right? I'm sure you didn't have anything else in mind as far as how to pronounce your name. Says, even Frank Luntz says that Harris is getting crazy numbers. They're going out of their minds seeing the reinvigorated support. True. Yeah, we watched actually Frank Luntz earlier. And, Yeah, he's trying to get people's attention, right? He obviously, I don't know how he feels about Trump as a candidate. I don't know if there's another primary candidate he would have preferred, but he doesn't want Trump losing to the Democrats, right? He wants Trump to win, but he feels like Trump is being his own worst enemy. Trump's instincts, Trump's anger, Trump's lashing out is actually harming his chances.
But I do think they were indicative of a national trend and an overall shift in sentiment that was not good for the president. And because Democrats and Republicans are really capped in terms of their ability to win.
Shadow government for the dub, I guess. Did they take my stream down, Jake Weil? Is that what you're saying?
Lose largely, whatever it might be. 312 was really the peak for Donald Trump. It really is the peak for Donald Trump in this election. And so across these battleground states here, the polls really showed that Joe Biden was not doing well. But let me be the first to tell you, and I'm sure I'm not, but let me tell you, Kamala Harris has made massive, massive gains in these battleground states. And we're going to start off with some of the larger leads and work our way down into some of the more competitive ones. And I think you will find this very, very interesting as we track across our electoral map. And so here we are. The first state that has the largest advantage, you might find this surprising, for either of the two candidates, is the state of Wisconsin, which currently has Kamala Harris ahead by 3.5% in this.
Squall Leonard asked the question of, I don't know, a century maybe? How would Bernie have done over Hillary against Trump if he hadn't been screwed over? Great question. All we know is that Bernie was averaging ahead of Trump and Hillary, while Hillary was averaging behind. Now those numbers changed for Hillary, and she did get. She was averaging over Trump by the time of November. And indeed, in terms of the overall popular vote, she did win by 2 million votes. Unfortunately, that is not enough to 100% secure a electoral map victory. And while she got many more votes than Trump did, he won the Electoral College. So, yeah, would Bernie have beaten Trump by enough to secure that victory? I mean, I guess we'll never know, but I have a feeling that 2016 was not the year for establishment candidates. The mood was not in favor of establishment candidates, and it just doesn't get much more establishment than Hillary Clinton. The Republican Party were able to shake off their establishment candidate. Who did people predict was going to win the Republican primary before it went off? Jeb Bush, whose name is now a punchline, Jeb ! Right? Jeb Bush is an absolute clown, is an absolute joke, right? He's a historical joke. But that's who people thought were going to win. That was the establishment Republican candidate, right? Through a series of interesting events, Donald Trump was able to fend off. Actually, the majority, I think, of the candidates were not just opposed to him, but felt like he was taking their party away, and he did. But because the Democratic establishment apparatus, including the superdelegates. Now, did the superdelegates hand it to Hillary? No, not in the end, but they definitely provided a psychological barrier to people who would have otherwise voted for Bernie. And we're convinced that, no, it's time to get behind Hillary instead, right? Voting for Bernie, that's actually going to make her weaker in the long run. Hillary's inevitable. Hillary's going to win. And so, look at this vote total, and they would include superdelegates. If you don't know, superdelegates are notable Democratic Party officials who were given a vote in the primary. They've reformed this system somewhat after 2016. And I don't think that superdelegates play quite the role that they used to. But what they did, right, was when they would tally up the amount of delegates that Hillary and Bernie had, they would add not only the delegates that Hillary had in Iowa, but also the superdelegates that had already pledged in order to put up this number that made it look like prohibitive, made it look like Bernie did not have a chance. Bernie was a real candidate. Bernie had a real chance. There was a hunger in the Democratic Party for somebody that would actually stand up to the corporations, somebody that would stand up to the 1%. And, that had been cooking since 2008. A lot of people thought that Obama would be that kind of transformational candidate. He was nowhere near that. He had no interest in that. the banks held the proverbial gun to the head of the U.S. government, and Obama, kissed the ring. So that's by 2016, people were ready for something different. So running Hillary Clinton in 2016 was an enormous mistake. Is it, we can't tell for sure that Bernie would have won in 2016. I just suspect that they would have had a better chance of winning. And again, she didn't lose the popular vote. She lost the electoral vote. So even with most people voting against Donald Trump, for Hillary, and I say against Donald Trump because nobody was excited about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was actually a very similar candidate to Joe Biden in terms of, her being the establishment candidate. Nobody's particularly excited for her. And she just becomes, and a lot of her campaign was just kind of negativity. A lot of her. So what Trump does for her, right, is he presents this monster, he presents this villain, and she's able to concentrate her candidacy on all of the, really bad stuff that Trump has done, the really bad stuff that Trump has said, and just say, like, vote for me to, keep this guy at bay. And she didn't get that as much as people felt a lot of negativity for Trump, people also felt a lot of negativity for her. And instead of offering a positive, set of policy, a positive set of policies, like, something for people to vote for, right? If the Democratic candidate can get away without doing that, they will, especially a Hillary Clinton type candidate. She calls herself a Democrat. She's pretty fucking center of the road. She's actually kind of right wing on a lot of issues, right? And if she can get away without making any campaign promises, well, that's less campaign promises for her to try to break or drag her feet on. Or like I said, the Democrats are generally hired, by the donor class in order to drag their feet on all of the progressive desires of their voter base, right? To get in there, and especially on economic issues, to say, oh, geez, we wanted to do a higher minimum wage, but we couldn't quite get there. Well, Hillary doesn't want any expectations, and she thought that Trump was such a weak candidate that she could get away without offering anybody any fucking hope. Like, if Obama was the candidate of hope, Hillary was the candidate of nope. And in the end, that put her in a place where she could not win the Electoral College. But yeah, good question. Question for the ages.
State. Now, you might find this to be the most surprising because Wisconsin, and I don't think it'll be the most surprising as we get through the map here, but it will be certainly very surprising because Wisconsin went to Biden by 0.6%. Now, if Kamala Harris is up by 3.5%, that is a stellar sign for the campaign. And I'm sure you will see throughout the remainder of this video how stellar of a sign this actually is, but it's a 3.5% advantage. 236 electoral votes for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Wisconsin goes from being Biden plus 0.6 to Harris plus 3.5. Now, I do think this is a combination of things. I think Tim Walz, being a neighboring state, Midwestern governor that they know and love, his approvals are really strong in Wisconsin and across the nation. It was the right pick for Kamala Harris, and it does numbers in Wisconsin. And I think that's the direct response we're seeing here. It also helps that Kamala Harris combats, again, those age concerns. Wisconsin actually is one of the few states that held out strong for Joe Biden. Even though he was losing the average, he was losing by less than a...
To be fair, even Fox hated Trump till he won. They gargled him for like 4 years. Yeah. No, like Fox, I think, still kind of hates Trump. Like when the leaks came out about Fox based on the Dominion case, you saw that even Tucker Carlson, who very much gargles Trump, even Tucker Carlson hated Trump, wanted to get rid of him, wanted him to be over. Wanted for him to like pass out of the Republican body politic like a I don't know, wanted to release the baggage, so to speak, of Donald Trump, and that didn't happen for them. They are stuck with Trump. Their viewers like Trump, even if the Fox News, higher ups do not.
So when Kamala Harris comes in with this new energy, a new surge, Wisconsin becomes the state that becomes most favored for Kamala Harris.
All right, chat, we got to change what we're doing because I can see the numbers, and I think that people might want to see Joe Rogan's new comedy special tanks. Let's hope that I'm right. Anyway, we'll cover more polls at a later date. I think people are tired of watching polls for now.
Finally, the time has come.
So, chat, this is a channel called the Elephant's Graveyard. They're kind of new, but they're doing really well. And actually, this video has blown up. 359 votes. 359 views. What am I saying? 659,000 views in 3 days. That's pretty good.
The comedy event of the year finally arrived. It's been 6 long years since we got a brand new hour of material from comedy's most valiant defender, the great and powerful Joe Rogan. Every era of comedy has its greats, guys. And you may not like it, but Joe is inarguably one of the greats now. He is the biggest and most successful comic on earth, and the valiant leader of the highly endangered 250 comics. In case you don't know what I'm talking about and have had your head planted firmly in the sand for the past 6 years, there are only 250 comics left in the entire world.
Because there's so few of us. And worldwide, we were talking about this the other day, there's maybe 500 of us on the planet. You know, you got to be real generous and say 500 because it's really probably about 250.
Whoa.
Right. Like legit.
250 comics. Anyway, chat, let's press that button and get started.
Comics? Guys you want to hang out with? Guys who are fun?
Please say you want to hang out with me. And the future
Actually,
looks grim for the 250, sadly. Only a couple years ago, there were still 2,000 of them, which isn't a lot, but still. They're dwindling fast, suffering many, many casualties. But Joe's doing his best to protect them, which is admirable, considering he's the greatest stand-up comedian of our time. As you can see, he's earned his spot amongst heroes like Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, Bill Hicks, all these guys. And maybe you disagree, but we have no objective way to measure the quality of a comic other than by their revenue.
I have what you call fuck you money.
So this multimillionaire is by far the best of the best. My parents had George Carlin and Richard Pryor. My grandparents had acts like the Marx Brothers, Red Skelton, and Al Jolson.
No!
We are truly blessed.
Get this the fuck off my...
Stuff like that.
I was dog like a motherfucking dog. Everybody knows that you need a hug. What's up, bitch? I'm a motherfucking lobster.
Rogan is what the kids call a chair humper. I mean, he's literally a chair humper.
Nailed it.
And of course, their comedy father, who keeps them all well fed like little birdies in a nest. Joe Rogan. Thank him. This thing was...
So chat, if you were watching me a few days ago, I think I mentioned Joe Rogan and his comedy. I may have said something to the effect that he is not a stand-up comic, right? I was unaware of the performance of this Joe Rogan comedy special, Burn the Boats, on Netflix, right? And I was saying, for my personal taste, I do not think he's funny. I think that his influence, you know, his clout actually, you know, buys him a lot of respect that he doesn't deserve. A chair humper. Humper is the word that people are saying, right? Somebody that just does weird shit to, you know, try like. Let's see if I can find an example of chair humping. But yeah, this is what I was talking about, right? Joe Rogan, like, he doesn't allow cell phones in his comedy club. He doesn't act at a comedy club that he owns. That he fucking owns. That is like, I don't know, buying a baseball team and making yourself the, I don't know, the you know, one of the players, right? You know, you start to question, wait, are you really good at baseball, or are you, you know, do you want people to think that you're good at baseball? But again, I didn't know what the metrics were like, and we're about to find out on his latest comedy special. So get your packs out, get ready to smoke on that Joe Rogan.
Antonio, Texas, where those few brave warriors once defended the Alamo in that big battle. It's a lot like the 250 defenders of comedy. Against all odds, they prevailed. And thank Christ they did, because otherwise we would never have been blessed with this wonderful comedy special, Burn the Boats. Now it's been 6 years since our man Joe released a stand-up special. The last one was back in 2018. Strange Times, which again is definitely one of the greats, as you can see here on this wall that you can find inside Joe's Comedy Club. The Comedy Mothership. It's been so long. It's hard to believe he took 6 years to write an hour of comedy, but you know Joe. He has to get in there and hammer away.
Perfection.
Finally honed like Damascus.
You can't hurry perfection.
I'm always interested in the writing process.
Yeah, why? What is yours? You just go, right? Like
I can type, so I don't have to look at the keys, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
I don't type great, but I type okay.
Enough.
As you're writing each individual word, you're pausing in time.
Yeah.
And you're in a time lapse. And you get to consider each and every possible way you would say something from that word while you're writing that word.
Yeah.
And there's a physical task of doing that with your keys and your fingers that makes you concentrate.
Yes.
Because it fires up your synapses and makes you think that you're doing this with your fingers. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You can't just shit out a bunch of jokes and expect them to be any good.
Yeah.
Joe is a man of quality, so 6 years it is.
Somebody please shoot me!
It took Michelangelo 4 years to complete the painting of the Sistine Chapel.
Look, let me give you a little and chat again. My
Get on up.
No. And by the way, when you see someone move,
my computer's dying. All right, I got to make a special plea. All right, we are now 49% away from hitting that dono goal today, and on Throne we are. Oh my god, why? Let's try opening up another tab. What I'm saying is that our stream just went down again. The reason that it does this is because of a lack of system resources. I have a solution to this problem, and it's up on Throne right now, and it is also 51% funded, right? That cannot be a coincidence. We're 51% towards the sub goal. We are 51% funded on the RAM stick, right? The 16 gigabyte RAM stick that I think would make it so that the stream doesn't go down in the future. That cannot be a coincidence. So, you know, if you're feeling generous, right, check my Throne link and see if you can help me out with this with this RAM upgrade. That is really what I need. I hate losing the stream like this. It really bugs me, and I know it bugs some people out there too. So a special plea for that. Anyway, I wanted to show you about the fine art. Somebody asked about chair humping. Chair fucking is another name for it. What is that about? Let me show you.
moving around like that on stage, I will bet you every penny I have they're not funny.
Get on up. Get on up.
No. And by the way, when you see someone moving around like that on stage, I will bet you every penny I have they're not funny.
Stuff her in the corner of the couch. Fuck.
Is that the equivalent of a guy stool fucker?
Oh my God.
Shar has kind of an elitist approach to comedy. It's quite interesting. He likes bars, he says. He likes jokes. He doesn't like stool fucking.
Yo.
When it comes, his whole body just erupts.
Anytime I saw someone miming having sex.
Narwhal, thank you for contributing $47 to the RAM card, the RAM sticks. Oh my God. Thank you for saving my butt. Again, I have way too many tabs open, but the way that I stream, it's kind of tab heavy, and I don't know how to do it differently, right? I wouldn't be able to flip the screen so much on you and show you different things and keep it as interesting as I do without having a gazillion tabs open. So thank you so much, Narwhal by Nature. And we are, what, 2% away from hitting that goal. That's kind of amazing. Actually, like less than... We're really damn close.
You know, pumping air.
But
Yeah,
it
I
was
would just
so
go, not
peaceful up
funny.
here,
No.
But now
It
there
was
are
just like it was a sign of like...
But what if there's a
invading
bit where you have to mime?
So do you get this? Like, he's got a guest on. They're talking about comedy.
so peaceful up here, but now there are freaking
Yo, communists invading radicals, welcome. We're talking about we're talking about comics. We're talking about different kinds of comics. This, you know, stool humping thing is a description not just of, like, you know, literally. I mean, there is stool humping, but just like this kind of weird physical non-comedy.
Izzy Sanchez
Yo.
super chatted $5.
Oh my God.
Just hit the goal.
We did just hit the goal. You are correct. That is 100. And those of you, oh my God, I was supposed to read super chats, but now they've all disappeared. The super chats from the previous stream. I am so sorry, super chatters. I appreciate you greatly. I love reading out my donos. I love thanking, people that are supporting the stream and helping us get where we need to go. And those things, they disappear when the stream dies. It fucking sucks. So hopefully that won't happen in the future. I'm told that these, upgrading my RAM by 16 gigabytes. I'm sorry, I don't know what I said before. I think I might have said 16 bits, but I mean gigabytes, GB. Hopefully that will get us into a position where this is no longer happening. Because again, I can tell the computer is just dying with all the tabs, which I'll try to. Anyway, let's get back to the fine art of stool humping.
Pumping air. Stool fucking, if it's the right bit, can be funny.
Really?
But it has to be a real comic with a real reason to fuck that stool. There has to be something to it.
Why do you do that? It looks dumb, all right? This is just being gay. That's all. Ass in the air. That's it.
There's got to be a bit.
Pumping air?
Yeah, but
you mean
there's got to be
screwing pumping?
Some bits.
What? But who doesn't know what that looks like? Why do you need to pump?
Maybe there's a reason.
Why do you need to pump?
It's like you're imitating someone having a heart attack pumping.
I'm not that retarded.
Jeez.
Fucking stupid.
And most of the move around people are pushing it, just oversell shit by
I see what you're saying.
physicalizing what should be just funny the way you say it.
Now I'm gonna get a fucking pencil and write that shit down. Bitch.
I'm trying to think if Eddie fucked a stool. I imagine
Remember
he might
Eddie
have been
fucking
in-
no stool, bro. See, I like Eddie, I like Richard, I like Chris
Yeah.
Rock, bless you. I like Chappelle, you know what I'm saying? Like I like people that have something to say. All that stool fucking is like, I would never disrespect the craft like that.
Well, you wouldn't have to disrespect it. You would just have to want to do it and then try it.
Do you see the whole thing? Do you see the whole thing? He's had multiple guests on. He has a lot of comedians on, right? He is a comedian. Like, for the record, all right, chat, when I say that Joe Rogan is not a stand-up comic, I don't mean that he's never done that. He did it back in the 90s, I guess, and he was, somewhat successful on it, right? I mean, he also had a radio gig and stuff like that, but, he must have been funny in some way at some time. He's not funny now. And, this kind of shows the division between Joe Rogan and, real comedians, right? The real comedians that he's bringing on, they are like, yeah, that stool fucking shit, like that. And Joe Rogan said, well, don't you think it could be funny if you do it in the right way? If you're telling a bit, maybe you need to fuck the stool. Maybe people need to know that you're pumping in the air, pumping in the air, And it's just like, no, Joe, you're not funny. You're relying on a fucking cheap ass bit to get laughs that you didn't really earn, that you didn't really write. Your comedy is not funny, therefore you must fuck the stool. You are condemned to forever. This is what's going to happen. He's going to go to hell, and it's going to be I don't know which circle, right? But it's going to be the one where you have to, maybe the stool fucks you. I don't know. Maybe it'll be that kind of hell, but.
If the content is about your physicality,
right,
that's not dancing.
Right.
Dancing's when you put English, when you're doing this to accentuate what you're saying. It's like, screw that. We don't need that.
One more cocktail. I'm not that
Oh shit, that's his old. That's old Joe Rogan.
funny, man. I need some help.
Man,
Thank you.
Schaub too, man.
Shout out to Brendan Schaub.
I really do appreciate what you do for comics, though.
Okay, well there we go. Let's get back to burning the boats.
Apple ceiling. And it's pretty good, I guess, but imagine if he had spent 2 more years on it. Imagine how much better it could be. Guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again because nobody ever seems to fucking listen to me, but quality takes time. Like dry-aged ribeyes, or a dram of that wonderful Lafroig whiskey.
Kenneth Oster says, Joe's too big to fail. I'm not saying he's going to fail. Well, I mean, I don't know. From what, watch this video, right? I haven't been keeping up with Netflix metrics, but from what I've heard, this latest Netflix special that he's got has not done that well. But we'll see. No matter what he says, it does. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that his podcast is going anywhere. Yeah, I mean, his podcast is what's popular, right? his podcast is really where his fame comes from, right? He's a successful podcaster. He'll continue to be a successful podcaster, whether or not he's funny as a comedian. But this is him also trying to do get back to his comedy career and show that he's got real chops. And from all that I can tell, that is not true.
If you have a triple-digit IQ, you'll be able to wait patiently, knowing that despite the difficulty in waiting, the results will be worthwhile in the end. Now,
Izzy Sanchez says, if you watch on news radio, he wasn't funny there either. The show was great due to the late great Phil Hartman. No, sorry, the late great Hannibal Lecter. No, the late great Phil Hartman. Sorry, Chad, I'm getting mixed up with the Trump tent here.
Happened in the life of Joe Rogan over the past 6 years. It's been arguably the most dramatic 6 years of his life. Since 2019, he has found himself in some hot water many, many times.
Troubling video sparking the uproar went viral over the weekend, and we should warn you, it's difficult to...
Oh no, is this the N-word shit? Jim Williams says, imagine being put in your place by Charlemagne, who is not even a comic. Oh my gods. Oh my gods, indeed.
Watch.
And to help cope with the adversity he's had to face,
Chat, do I need to get some, do I need to put Lola on my soundboard? Like, I always say, like, oh my god, but maybe I need that, like, on the soundboard. Maybe I need actual Lola saying, oh my god.
Redesigned his entire personality, becoming a brand new guy, which is commendable.
Oh, Texas went red, bitch! There you go. See, now that's
But with this new...
Julian says, Joe's funny like Jim Brewer is funny. Not very. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Guy that he's become, he's also attracted millions and millions of new fans thanks to his wonderful podcast.
Chair humping hack, yes.
Despite it being Joe's justification.
Joe is 60?
A lot of these people aren't even aware that...
Wait, Joe Rogan is 60 years old? He actually looks pretty good for that.
Joe does stand-up comedy. In the lead-up to this special, Joe shared a few promotional posts advertising the event. And a lot of the commenters, the haters, I should say, well, they had a lot to say about the quality of Joe's comedy act. And many of the rest were just confused why this guy was suddenly doing a stand-up special out of nowhere, which is pretty interesting. You hate to see it, but maybe it's just because he's been away so long. Maybe they just forgot. I mean, we haven't seen Michael Jordan dunk a basketball in over 20 years. And even with him, it's easy to forget how good he was. So I can understand forgetting how funny our king...
Phil's wife shot him, but some blame Andy Dick for making the wife relapse. Yo, what? Wait, Andy Dick got her back into... Damn.
Really is, but that's no excuse to be rude. I'm afraid some of this animosity was getting to Joe, who admits he is so fragile that he can't even watch his own specials, which isn't exactly a great way to improve your routine, but what do I know? He looked incredibly nervous and without confidence as he promoted this thing on his podcast leading up to it.
Okay, I have to announce, because Netflix is making me announce this, that I have a Netflix special that's live Saturday night from San Antonio.
Oh.
So it's going to be live all over the world.
I've seen your set. It's really funny.
It's
Yo, Michael Malice, your nose is brown. Your nose is brown, sir. That's a really funny act, Joe. That's a really funny act. Let me tell.
It's good. It's like, I'm very happy with it.
How long has it been since you dropped the special?
6 years.
Wait, dude, seriously?
Yeah, I was ready to do one in August of 2020. Then I started changing a lot of bits and moving stuff around. And I'm like, I don't want to do one right now.
But not everyone was negative about it. Some comedy fans were thrilled and chomping at the bit to be part of a wonderful live comedy experience from the comfort of their very own homes. Thank you, Netflix, for all you've done for comedy.
I've prepared for this probably more than anything I have.
Can somebody explain to me the ice bath? This is something that athletes do right after, I don't know, a major game or something?
Maybe in my life, but definitely.
Is it hydrotherapy?
In recent memory. I've been going at it hard.
Okay, well, sounds like Joe is ready and I am too, so let's prepare to laugh. Take notes, liberals. Wow.
Yeah, liberals. Yeah.
Very beautiful, delicate, flowing mustard blouse. He looks gorgeous. Ah, and there's the stool. God, that's exciting to see.
Oh no, it's right there.
Tonight. He has to, right? Chekhov's stool.
Home state. I've been living here for...
Chekhov's stool.
Okay, well, right off the bat, he does seem a little nervous still, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs.
I want to sell kayaks!
Now, I'm not sure if he's confused or what, but he's shouting.
He sounds like Alex Jones.
He does when he's doing commentary for UFC events.
The other thing about his comedy is I've heard that a lot of times he's on like psychedelics, right? I've heard stories about him being on mushrooms for some of this stuff. He looks like a Lego. Wait, what? His head? Like a Lego person? He's dressed like a minion. Yeah, and the other thing too is he looks really weird with the untucked shirt. It makes it look like his legs are tiny.
When he's surrounded by an arena full of thousands of screaming fans. Maybe he's been doing too much UFC, not enough stand-up.
Okay, chat.
His wires got all bungled up there, and he forgot which gig he was at.
We're going to take a moment right here, and we are going to consolidate the chat. So if you're watching me on Shorts, it is time for me to end the short stream. But you can follow this link. You can follow this link over to the full-scale stream. Again, if you're on your phone, you can still watch it. Just like turn your phone like this. It'll be okay, I promise you. And join us over there. If you want to watch the rest of this Joe Rogan thing, we're going to do it over there. So I'm going to give you a little bit longer. If we can hit the like button a few more times, hit the like button on your way out. But yeah, we're gonna consolidate streams over to the full screen stream on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, don't worry, stay where you are. You're fine. I'm never gonna be telling Twitch users to change platforms because I'm contractually obliged not to do so. But yeah, watch it on whatever platform you like to watch it on. Right? That's my I like my ad-free. Wait, is it really ad-free? I thought there was more ads on Shorts. But yeah, we're gonna switch over. We're gonna switch over really soon. So I'll give you like a minute or so, and then I'm gonna end the short stream. And if you're too late, don't worry. You'll be shown the link again. I think it should give you the link again. If not, just like pull you into the new stream. So, but yeah, click the link if you want to switch over now. Switch over to the fun half. Here we go.
The only adjustment I've ever
Oh, wait,
had to
okay, there he goes.
is Texas weed.
Suddenly it all clicked, and he remembered this is a comedy show. The audience is quiet, and
so much hate in the stream. That's a bot. That's not a real person.
No need to shout the whole time. Great.
Texas weed is
that's not somebody that's watching.
different.
Yeah, that's better. Good job, Joe. You can do it. You got this.
Texas weed is grown on Texas soil.
Now, almost right off the bat, Joe
what?
tackling the topic of weed. Now, weed, if you don't know.
Oh shit! It's gonna get me in trouble.
The land of the free. If you get caught with that stuff, they literally lock you up in a prison with scary criminal murder guys, mutilators, violators, all those types. But lucky for Joe, he got around this issue by simply becoming friends with their wheelchair governor guy called Greg. What a lucky guy. So there's some advice for my fellow partakers down.
Yeah, that guy's a scumbag. Greg Abbott.
Down in Texas, just get in with this guy, jiggle his flaccid dangler, and you'll get the green light to bun to your heart's content. It's actually really easy. So Joe is sticking to his tried and true handful of topics. He mentioned weed. And here he gets onto the topic of aliens again, one of Joe's favorite subjects.
I'm very invested in aliens being real. If they're not, I'm gonna feel so fucking stupid.
Yeah, Joe is definitely going to feel real stupid if aliens are proven to be fake. Say what you want about Joe, but when he's proven wrong, even though he might feel
Oh, interesting, Timothy.
He takes it in stride and learns from his mistakes.
But the State of the Union was not live, and
Yes, it was.
no. Did you see that they found out that it wasn't? Someone zoomed in on his watch, and his watch was the...
Oh my god, fucking Conspiracy Joe. Conspiracy Joe. All right, one last chance. Shorts. Get while the getting's good. Click that link. You'll have another chance to do it, I guess, but I'm going to end the stream now, and I will see you all in the full-scale stream. Anyway, see you then. Wait, maybe if I hit... Maybe I've got to end it like this. Oh, no. Hit that one. Does that do it? Yeah, tap that link. Well, wait, actually, they can't hear me. They can't hear me. All right, so end it for real. All right, so here we are. All in the same stream, all in the same boat.
wrong time.
Whoa.
How could that even be?
I don't know what they knew. How do you know what they knew? You get a feed. You know?
I don't think all the Republicans would agree to it, too.
Who knows what?
That's Michael Malice debunking Joe Rogan's batshit theory that the State of the Union was recorded.
They knew. They're all there live while he's doing it? Let's see.
I don't see anything. State of the Union was...
It's got to be so weird to go on Joe Rogan. This is the emperor with no clothes. You got to just like, oh yeah, Joe. I mean, like, look, Michael Malice, you can't tell him what he's probably really thinking, which is, Joe, have you smoked yourself chud logic?
Live. I added watch.
It could be some troll shit.
See anything about
They
that.
got me.
Yeah.
Look at Biden's watch, incorrect time, State of the Union. Yeah, there is a fake image. They got me, these sons of bitches. It's just amazing how much stuff is fake. It's just like that stuff. Like, who's doing that stuff and why are they doing that stuff? They could probably be putting up some of that misinformation themselves.
Attaboy, Joe. How
can
anyone not like him?
People go, if aliens are real, why don't they just land on the White House lawn?
Oh, well, when you go fishing, do you check in with the president of the lake?
Oh, they're fishing, right? That makes sense. Yeah, they're going to, abduct people, right? That's kind of like fishing. I get what he's saying.
Now, I hate to fact check already, but there is no president of the...
I mean, I do actually. I go and check with Poseidon. Poseidon is actually who we're talking about, or depending on what, where you're at, it might be what is it, like, what is the... In China, there's like the Dragon King or something that lives in the water.
The lake. There are fish and bugs and ducks and things, and there may even be a mayor of a nearby township, but no president. So this analogy is terrible, and I don't know, guys. I've been trying to be positive about this thing, but there have already been several red flags that Joe's heart is not in this comedy thing anymore, and no. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay positive here, stay prepared to laugh. Continue.
What the?
Okay, the Dragon King, also known as the Dragon God, is a Chinese water and weather god. So I don't know if this dude presides over, all bodies of water, if there's, an ocean thing or a river thing or whatever. But yeah, he is regarded as the dispenser of rain, commanding over all bodies of water. He is the collective personification of the ancient concept of long. Is that long? Is that an L? Long. In Chinese culture, there is also the cosmological Dragon King of Four Seas. Besides being a water deity, the Dragon God frequently also serves as the territorial tutelatory deity, similar to Tuti Gong, the Lord of the Earth, or Hutu, the Queen of the Earth.
Fuck just happened?
Holy shit, where have I seen that face before? Let me dig into the files here. I think I know. Oh my god, it's him.
I think aliens look at us the same way we look at Waffle House fights.
Now, we all know Joe has never been inside a Waffle House, so how does he know about Waffle House fights? From social media, of course. Joe is a rabid...
There's the Dragon God.
Especially Twitter. And despite being a detached millionaire who mostly hangs out with the retired Navy SEAL security guards he keeps around him at all times, there are many, many accounts Joe follows that allow him to keep his finger on the pulse of the, quote, real world, like these ones. I call this genre of account Poverty Safari. There are many of them that let you vicariously explore things like the hoods of Detroit or the homeless camps of LA. The problem with Joe is that...
So, Chad, have you seen this kind of content before? Yeah, I mean, like Tyler, what's his name? Tyler Oliveira kind of is like this.
This is all he looks at, all the time, and he has constructed inside his mind a very distorted model of the world around him, which he never actually sees in real life. It's a lot like Plato's cave. If you've got a triple-digit IQ, you already know what that's about. But if not, Plato's cave is an allegory, look it up, for the way our brains interpret data from our senses and construct a model of reality that informs the way we think, feel, and behave. In the story, it's explained that we all resemble captives who are chained deep within a cavern and who do not yet realize that there is more to reality than the shadows they see against the wall. So Joe's social media feed is his cave, and the first evidence of that is seen here with this Waffle House remark. Okay, now...
God, I love this channel.
Before we look at this next clip,
here, let me
I just want to prepare you.
I want you to subscribe to this if you like this stuff.
Joe Biden is not suddenly collaborating with Rogan on this special. This is actually an impression that Joe has been working on for 5 or 6 years, and he's finally ready to unveil it. Joe isn't known for doing good impressions, so this is very brave to try and do live here. Let's be nice.
I got hairy legs. My uncle got eaten by a cannibal.
Incredible. See, guys, 6 years.
Come on, man.
6 years. 6 years. Well, with a few of his regular subjects out of the way, Joe veers into a topic that's going to permeate a lot of this special. Ass play. I don't want to sound like a broken record, as we've spoken before about Carl Jung and the shadow self, so just to make it quick. We all have an inner shadow self inside our psyches that
Damn, we're going Jungian.
contains all the hidden aspects of our personality.
Okay, so again, like, you know, do your own research. Carl Jung, while an influential psychoanalyst, you know, his method of treatment is not very widely used anymore. A lot of his theories are just kind of, you know, his ways of I don't know. I got complicated feelings about Jung, right? This isn't like, you know, don't take this as canon, in other words, right?
The
like, I mean, this is he is explaining accurately Jungian concepts. However, contrary to Jordan Peterson, Jung's concepts are not very solid. They're not, you know, they're just concepts. Let me just put it that way.
Emotional blind spot. The part of you that your ego does not want to acknowledge. All the things we do not wish to be. But to become a fully actualized person, those aspects need to be assimilated somehow. And if not assimilated, the repressed shadow will find all sorts of ways to leak out subconsciously. And as you'll see in this bit, whether he wants to do this or not,
look, the shadow and other Jungian constructs are mostly just good for making persona games, okay?
Joe's obsession with ass play gets put front and center. So here we're about to see some clear shadow leakage as Joe graphically describes the unbridled pleasure of anal probing.
Imagine if you have your greatest orgasm ever on an operating table on a spaceship. Oh, Jesus! Make them just jizz all over themselves. Oh, Jesus! Oh, God!
Greatest orgasm ever, he says. Well, that may be so, but Joe, you don't need to wrap that admission up inside a story about aliens. It's not a surprise, guys, if you've been studying Joe Rogan as long as I have. You'll remember the time he publicly opined on how great it would be to become a woman and get fucked by some guy.
I know you well enough to know.
I don't know. This is like really like edging on stuff that might not be.
You, Joe Rogan, if there was a technology that could instantly turn you into a woman,
Yeah.
you wouldn't hesitate to turn into a woman.
I'd like to feel a dick inside me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a little too
That's what I'm saying.
descriptive, Joe.
Yeah, and
I don't think it made me gay. What happens is you become a woman who actually feels the way a woman feels when she's attracted to a man, and a guy with a dick like a battering ram.
Let me try.
It's just gonna.
I love him assuming that like a bigger, you know, a bigger unit necessarily translates to greater pleasure, right? It doesn't always work like that. In fact, sometimes that is a little bit counterintuitive. Anyway, chat. That's my opinion.
Send it home.
See what happens.
And you can't wait. You want to feel him come inside.
Oh my God, that's a bit much.
Upper rib cavity. Like,
wow.
Sign me up. The point is, like, you would do it.
Some men, the weakest among us, would be scared of that experience.
Right. Well,
they'd be scared that that experience weakens them and turns them into something that they dismiss. I would like to feel what it's like to be pregnant.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if amyl nitrate does that. Like, that's the reason why gay guys like poppers. It's
oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
It relaxes your asshole muscles.
Is that true? Or
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's part of. It's like a feeling of euphoria and also relaxing your asshole muscles.
Or how he enjoys engaging in oral sex with a penis from time to time.
Yeah, I can suck my own dick if I wanted to.
No, you
cannot.
Super flexible.
You can't.
No, you that far.
You know I can.
Okay, that's just some context for you as we examine this next sequence.
That's how they get come.
I do believe he's probably super flexible.
Oof. Okay. Unfortunately, now it sounds like the crowd's initial excitement and enthusiasm is running on fumes, as we've got our first real obvious awkward bomb of the night. The crowd goes completely silent and Joe just stands there like a deer in headlights. But Joe manages to salvage it by stooping to the lowest form of conversation.
He wants to be submissive and breedable, yeah.
Remember when?
I used to host Fear Factor. And yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And now, I don't know if this is from excitement and arousal or from nervousness and fear, likely some combination of both.
Buckets of cum.
But this is
Wow, is he a Destiny fan? That's some Destiny right there.
the moment Joe starts profusely sweating through the mustard blouse. Perhaps it's nerves from some subconscious realization.
Wait, is he sweating or is he lactating, right? That's right around where the nipples would be. That could be lactation.
That his shadow is about to take the wheel and squirt out a major leak here. Pay attention to this region here and watch how it develops throughout the show. And by the way, oh man, look at that stool behind him just teasing us back there.
It's just waiting. It's edging him.
Stop teasing us, Joe. He knows how to build suspense, that's for sure. Ah, man,
It very much. What do they call it? Chekhov's stool?
Only 5 minutes into this thing, and I am just dying for some stool work. We'll have to settle for some ass work for now, I guess.
You take a cattle prod and you stick it up the donkey's ass and you shock his prostate, and they just bust. And then
He sounds like Alex Jones. Is he channeling Alex Jones?
I was like, what is that?
I mean, look, Alex Jones is funny, but he's not funny on purpose. Like, Alex Jones is funny in spite of himself, right? Alex Jones is funny when he's not trying to be funny.
What if it's your face?
He's trying to do the Alex Jones thing, but like purposefully, right?
There's that leakage.
You can't even tell anybody.
It's too bad for Joe. He's too old and his brain is far too calcified to become a
God damn.
aspect of his life.
God damn.
But someone should tell Joe that it's okay to just enjoy that stuff. It's no big deal anymore, Joe. Ass play has gone mainstream. Don't worry about it.
Should we keep hammering? Should we keep hammering? Keep hammering? What's that?
But instead he settles for keeping it a secret, while releasing a little shadow pressure by revealing his deepest desires live on Netflix for millions of people under the guise of donkeys and aliens. It works for now, but it's not a viable long-term strategy. Now, and I can't believe this, but he's going to bail on his set.
Chat, I just noticed something, right? The first segment of the stream, it lasted exactly 6 hours. That's weird. That's weird. There's too many coincidences, chat. We were at 51% of the sub goal. We're at 51% of the RAM, like the RAM stick, and then I don't know, chat. I'm starting to go Joe Rogan here. I'm gonna come up with conspiracy theories. I'm gonna be like, I don't know, maybe Alex Jones is right. I don't know. Maybe reality is just a computer program designed to, I don't know, man. I don't know.
And we know he's bailing because Joe has said for years that once he's done a joke on a special, he retires it and never does it again. So here he's really starting to bomb, and is so terrified that he's going to break his own code and fall back into some tried and true material. He is going to Mencia himself here and regurgitate a bit from his 2009 special, Talking Monkeys in Space.
And I'm watching porn on the computer. My girlfriend just opens up the door. You did it while I'm at home. She was really sad about that. And I didn't have the heart to tell her, I do it while you're sleeping right next to me. She goes, I can't believe you did it while I'm at home. And I'm like, I do it while you're sleeping right next to me.
Oh man, that's a finely aged 15-year-old classic bit. I'm a little surprised that Rogan broke his code here, but our behavior can change dramatically when faced with an existential crisis like bombing this bad. For example, when people are in the midst of drowning and someone jumps in to save them, the drowner often ends up inadvertently and tragically murdering their rescuer amid the struggle to save themselves. You do what you gotta do, and I guess when you bomb hard enough, you do what you gotta do to survive too. But unfortunately, that—
God damn. Marina, thank you for the $5 super sticker. It's a Doge saying hiya. Also, anybody else who donated, Narwhal and Izzy, I think, yeah. Can you let me know what you want me to add those donos to? Remember, we still got hopefully we still got it. I mean, we started a new one. I lost the poll, chat, because the fucking stream went down, but 51 of you have voted so far, and you're still voting for the Vosh Road Rage on Bikers. Mr. Beast hires a PDF in second place, J.K. Rowling's Mold Symbiote in third place, and the choosing only 4% of you are choosing violence, metaphorical, rhetorical violence, of course, not real violence, at the expense of our pseudo-intellectual friend Sunday.
that can often be self-defeating.
Here's the thing about jerking off. Everybody does it, but if you
Vosh Road Rage for Izzy Sanchez.
you're a
fucking loser.
Uh-oh, this actually sounds like a cope. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I grew up without an uncle, and that has gifted me with the ability to detect copes. And this has to be a cope. This is way too personal.
You're a fucking loser.
And by the way, not to nitpick, but have you noticed that this is Joe's new default face? Does this look like the face of somebody who's enjoying what they're doing? To me, this face confirms that his heart is not in this anymore, and I just don't get it. Like, why is he still trying to do stand-up? What's the point?
I can't keep doing this.
And man, the sweat stain is evolving rapidly. He's very nervous, and judging by the way he can't stop screaming, he's likely hopped up on stimulants and booze. Joe forgot to mention that also during COVID, he became a bloated alcoholic.
Is somehow or another better than jokes.
Oh, God damn it, I'm sorry, I gotta stay positive. Joe, you're doing...
Look, you gotta be positive. You cannot hit somebody up with that, unless they make a weird accusation about you being hopped up on Valium, and then you can correctly read it as a projection on their part, right? But just like randomly being like, having a go at somebody's, pain and misery and addiction issues, no, I would not recommend that.
Great.
Is it
Joe then goes into a little story about going through airport security high on mushrooms and how wacky that was before swiftly...
That does sound wacky.
Pivoting.
I don't think I've ever done anything like that, right? I have had some interesting experiences involving entheogens, many hours inadvisably driving, which I don't recommend and you shouldn't do, but many hours watching infomercials, which again, not advisable. Shouldn't do that. But as far as something like going through customs at an airport, that seems like the recipe for somebody freaking the fuck out, right? I don't know what they would do if they found that you were, you know what I mean? If somebody noticed that your pupils had fully dilated, like right while you're going through security. I just feel like you'd be freaked out by this.
Right into his other passion, the trans.
Men get pregnant. I'm willing to say pregnant.
Oh, here we go.
I just don't think it's a good. I think you need extra words.
Yeah, definitely nothing within the statute of limitations. Rogan is such a hypocrite. For the unaware, Joe Rogan went after Carlos Mencia for stealing jokes, if I recall correctly. Rogan even encouraged others to blackball Bobby Lee. Damn.
Maybe we should use extra words.
Oh no, there's that silence again. Hearing more and more of that as the audience grows weary.
Trans women are women. How about most? How about almost all? You gotta leave room for crazy. Just jokes, folks.
You know, when they put this line in the trailer for this thing, I thought he must have said something truly edgy, but now I'm seeing it as actually a massive cope, uttered during a major bombing.
Just jokes, folks. No one's getting hurt.
Notice that sniff there? That is one of Joe's tells. He does it on the podcast all the time. It's a nervous tick that comes out when he feels awkward about something embarrassing.
Super chatted $5. The reason Rogan was sweating and nervous is because he's trying to impress the stool behind him.
There we go, Izzy. That is more likely than you think, chat. More likely than you think.
He just said, "We all have our tells and ticks, guys. Mine used to be that I'd look to the side. But I got over it and am back on the straight and narrow."
You disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, wait. Oh my God.
That's why I always eat them with dark chocolate. Yeah, that is actually probably the best way. Yeah, no, I sympathize with that, right? Some people say that you make a fungal tea, right, to get over the bad taste, right? I mean, look, I like having interesting and unique experiences. I like trying out new entheogens, but oh my God, that stuff tastes terrible. That stuff tastes terrible, and it almost doesn't matter what it's grown in, right? It's gonna taste bad. And yeah, the tea doesn't really make it any better. Also, you feel like you're kind of getting ripped off if you're not ripped off, but you're not getting your dollar's worth if you are if you leave some slimy bits in the bottom of the teacup And so you feel like eating that too, and it's slimy and it's gross and it tastes bad and the tea tastes bad and it makes your stomach feel weird. It's just like, it's bad.
Yes,
but chocolate is a great way to sort of distract yourself. I don't know how they do it. I always used to get these little chocolate pyramids. Those were my favorite. Little chocolate pyramid. It tastes like chocolate. It's actually delicious.
Approaching the stool. Here we go. Yes. Now's his chance to win him back. No, damn it. Just another tease. And by the way, why didn't Joe film this in his comedy spaceship? That's too bad. I'm surprised he wouldn't want to give the place some easy advertising. Joe is normally very prolific with his advertising work, often able to squeeze several dozen ads into one podcast episode.
I opened up a comedy club in Austin, Texas.
Oh, I knew it. There's the ad. But did you catch the sniff?
Thank you very much.
Chat, if you caught the sniff, hit that like button.
Guess he's a little ashamed to be doing
Hit that like button to show me that you caught the sniff. I'm going to see how many people caught the sniff.
this, but Joe is the king of slipping ads in everywhere.
Did you, answer honestly, did you catch the sniff?
Sometimes without you even noticing. And here he goes shamelessly promoting his club, disguising it as a joke.
I opened up a comedy club in Austin.
Ooh, coffee would work similarly? I mean, it could be. Oh, the only thing is, though, so I think what works about the chocolate, if I'm not mistaken, it's like, I think they use like a blender, right? And they grind everything up. And so it's perfectly distributed throughout the chocolate. There's no chunks. There's no anything. It's just, they might even use like, they might even have like an alcohol extraction or something like that, and they mix it into the chocolate. But regardless, right, there's no bits. There's no mouthfeel from the fungus. There's no anything other than just delicious chocolate, right? Whereas with coffee, I feel like you'd still run into that. I don't know, if you grind it into dust and you mix it in with the coffee and then filter, use water like normal. Maybe.
Texas a year and a half ago.
This is
people pay for this. Yeah, people pay a lot for this, apparently.
Comedy pop-up ad. It's spam.
The sniff is a sign of that he's sniffing something else, possibly.
It wasn't necessary, just a real life.
He's been hanging out with Hunter.
Pop-up ad.
Suddenly, every man in a dress is stunning and brave.
Okay, great. I was worried he was.
Geez, I was worried that you were only transphobic against the crazy ones. Wow.
Wasn't going to get back to the trans. Oh, the trans.
You can walk through the women's locker room with a hard cock, and anybody who complains.
For somebody who fantasizes about being turned into a woman, Joe sure does not seem to understand very much about dysphoria. He looks like a big toe, big sweaty toe. Yeah, big, scary. Can you imagine if you looked down at your toe and you saw this look back? Instead of your toenail, there's like Joe Rogan's face and he's like, ah! Just, I don't know, that's scary. He's scary.
Seriously, though, these aren't really
a chaser alert. Maybe so.
Jokes. This is all just his regular podcast.
This is him trying to do the Dave Chappelle thing. And that's not even, I don't know. I mean, look, I feel like the Dave Chappelle shit, it mostly, I mean, maybe he's trying to do the same thing. Like he wants trans people and LGBT people to like protest his comedy special, and then that gets in the news, and then like more people see his comedy. It's like the Chud Logic attention economy theory. I don't think it always, he's somehow fucking it up though, because I haven't heard about his transphobic bits. Although, I mean, he's Joe Rogan. You know that's going to be there, but
Banter he's been doing for the past 5 years, just yelled on a stage in front of an audience. And the bombs are piling up, that sweat stain is growing, and it is a sad thing. I'm sorry guys, I tried to be positive, but there is such a thing as toxic positivity.
Yeah, I mean, he is unaliving on stage, right? This is going bad. Wait, don't we have a clip of somebody?
This is going bad.
That's right, Sunday. This is going bad. Even Sunday knows this is going bad.
This is terrible and beyond salvaging. Possibly career-ending.
Can't just put lipstick on, now you can shit in the women's room. Like, well,
That was the idea, right? Yes, about shitting and no, Joe, no.
Yeah, actually, kind of is. Doesn't help that this guy looks exactly like Mussolini.
Oh shit, Chad, he does. Or if you're Aiden Ross, it's Benito Mazzulli. Who is this? What is this? Fascism?
Not prejudice. I think it's China. I think they got us with TikTok. Craziest thing is they make our phones. That's supposed to be our enemy, and they make our phones. Do you know how dumb that is? I just want to say, honestly, I admire what they've done.
A lot of people miss this, but the Joe Rogan Spotify deal was in part financed by the Chinese Communist Party. Spotify is owned in part by Tencent, whose CEO, Pony Ma, has openly vowed to uphold the goals and desires of the CCP. So it's odd that...
Damn. Who knew that she was going to enact his evil agenda on the United States via a stool fucker like Rogan?
Complain about this TikTok China stuff because
Joe is just a pawn. Joe is just a little marionette doll.
He is most likely, whether he realizes it or not, a weapon of propaganda used by the Chinese government to sow chaos in America. All you gotta do is follow the money. That's the one good thing I learned from Joe's podcast. And now something starts to happen.
God damn, this is a really good video.
And I can't believe I'm even saying this, but Joe actually goes full Brendan Schaub with this wonderful Chinese
WG
voice he does here.
Oh no. Are we doing this? We're doing it like it was the 80s, chat. Like, did you know in the 80s apparently a accent was in and of itself a joke? It was just literally like, I come from foreign country, listen to my accent.
Oh, look, there's Harry! Mr. Schaub, after
Wait, I thought we were getting an accent.
Chinese government to sow chaos in America. All you gotta do is follow the money. That's the one good thing I learned from Joe's podcast. And now something starts to happen and I can't believe I'm even saying this, but Joe actually goes full Brendan Schaub with this wonderful Chinese voice he does here.
Look, there's Harry! Mr. Schaub, after you numb your lip, you need many, many stitches.
Oh, geez. Are we stealing jokes again?
With all these big criticisms about our infrastructure!
Well,
oh my god, wait, I didn't even catch that he's doing an accent. He just sounds weird, but yeah, there it is.
That is rough, but at least he's not straight up copying Brendan's jokes, right?
My life would be so much easier if I was just gay as shit.
I wish I was gay. It looks way easier.
We'd play video games all day. We'd work out. At night, we'd fuck each other.
You're hanging out with only guys? No one can get pregnant?
That is a low that is so low where I never expected Joe to go. Stealing from Brendan Schaub. My God, if that is not the death knell of a comedy career, then I don't know what is. Brendan Schaub quit comedy after releasing that special, and it only stands to reason that if Joe is stealing from it, then he ought to do the same.
If like a cop went into a serious
He just won't stop screaming.
Playing sports.
This joke doesn't need to be yelled. If everything is yelled, then you can't emphasize anything. So this whole thing just kind of becomes white noise. It all just flows and blends together meaninglessly. It's stimulating but meaningless. Which is basically what his podcast is, a screensaver for the brains of failed warehouse forklift operators, sat at home chewing on oxys and collecting pogie.
God damn, this is some Black Mirror shit right here. Chat, I'm looking at the audience ratings. Is this on Google? 2.6. It's getting a lot of 5s as far as audience ratings, right? Well, I mean, look, they've only taken 53. I don't know how scientific this is. What is this? IMDb. I wish it would tell me where it's coming from. No, this must be Google. Anyway, yeah, it's got more 1s than 5s, but yeah, there's no middle ground here. Either you are glazing Joe up as a fanboy and you're like 5, you know, right? Or you're like honest and you're like, it's a 1, it sucks.
All right, what else did Danny Benito say here?
If you're getting your vaccine advice from me.
Oh, great.
Is that really my fault?
Next, he goes into his routine of, I'm just a shithead comedian.
IMDb says 4.8 out of 10. 42% liked this TV show, Google users.
Don't take me seriously.
I'm a professional shit talker, okay? Don't take my advice.
This special is just PR now. This is not comedy. He knows nobody normal listens to his show anymore, so he can't reach them on his podcast. But normies watch Netflix, and a lot of them are going to be checking out what that guy whose podcast they can't believe they used to listen to, and have to try and remember to whom they admitted listening to it, and cringe with pure embarrassment about that. They want to see what that guy's up to. So this is Joe's chance to get some good damage control in.
They tried to use that quote as proof that I'm homophobic. First of all, it's not true, but if
He's literally just reenacting one of his many Instagram apology soliloquies, and it is just so fucking tedious to listen to. He gets into his famous N-word controversy, and sorry to say, he's still doing that propaganda where he tries to convince everyone that he only said it when quoting other people saying it, which obviously is a lie. Here's a clip from the first ever Joe Rogan podcast.
Once I get the internet to do it, I'll make it HD so you can see how ugly I am. Like, that is ugly.
Yeah. Bree Breezy says, my grandmother thinks accents are funny. It will even mimic accents of people sometimes. It's so rude and embarrassing. I've told her multiple times not to do it. She'll get defensive, of course. She has used great replacement mindset, too. Oh, that's... God, I'm sorry. Oh, no, this is not the first. This is not the first, right? And he said really racist stuff without even dropping any N-bombs, right? One of the more famous incidents, he describes going to a movie theater, right? It's the 90s. He's going to go see Planet of the Apes, I think like the original one. And they can't see it in the close by movie theater. So they end up buying tickets for another place in town that they're unfamiliar with. And, when they get there, they realize this is a predominantly black neighborhood that they're in. And so he goes into the movie theater and most of the other patrons are black. And he says something like that. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes, right? That's a kind of comedy that's what this guy thinks is funny. So yeah.
They forgot to delete that one during Spotify's extensive Operation N-word cleanup.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about context. So, I'm not racist, but if I was gonna quote...
Oh, Joe, you should have just let this one go. This PR is embarrassing.
It's Michael Richards! Wait, is it? It's Michael Richards. Michael... Oh no, chat. Oh no. Michael Richards, like high-quality comedy, joking about lynching.
I'm not a racist. That's what's so insane about this.
It was the first remake? Oh, wait.
Thought everybody would understand. Here's the thing about these words. You can't say them.
Damn, 6 years of honing this material and he's got to pad the back half of the special with PR. Oh, that's bad. But he still doesn't stray too far from the gay stuff, as that shadow continues to seep out.
I love gay men.
Joe's shadow is now in total control and is just leaking all over the place. And now, with the shadow in control here, he's going to steal another joke, this time from Bill Burr.
Remember this thought when you're in your car and the light turns green, but the scooters keep coming and you just want to go to jail?
I have a lot of fucked up thoughts, man. I do. You ever drive down the street and see like 30 people up on a sidewalk? And you just...
Wait, whoa.
Now that's it.
That's Bill Burr? That's Bill Burr? When was this, the 90s? God damn, he looks different.
At least 2 stolen jokes in this special, so that's bad. And this is the guy who got famous for calling out Carlos Mencia for stealing jokes.
If someone steals a riff from a song, that shit's in the news constantly. Yeah. Motherfuckers steal shit and make it on HBO,
Netflix.
Put it on television.
Not only did he steal material from Brendan Schaub,
yeah, Bill Burr is a legend.
But he really just became the new Mencia tonight. I can't believe it. Talk about full circle. The shit hero's journey. So who is going to step up and be the new Joe Rogan to the new Carlos Mencia? I nominate Joe List. Come on, Joe, stand up for comedy. Go after Joe Rogan aggressively, please.
I send my wife pictures of other dudes' dicks.
This is please, Joe, please, we don't need to know this. And as his deepest secrets are spilling out against his will, Joe is fully lactating now.
I mean, that's not literally chair fucking, but that is chair fucking.
Leaking both psychically and physically.
San Antonio, I love you to death. Thank you very much.
And now it's all over. It's finally done. 6 years.
It can't be over, chat. Chekhov's chair. Still sitting back there. Unfucked.
And they really dipped into
No,
the budget
you
for
have
this
to.
closing credits music, which sounds like it's
What about the chair, Joe? What about the chair?
ripped straight from the Ken Griffey Jr. game for Super Nintendo. Well, I guess if I had one sentence that could sum this thing up, it'd be...
I hate dumb people that are confident, you know?
Try again?
I hate dumb people that are wrong and confident.
And now that that's done, every comic on every podcast is going to spend the next 6 months raving about how Joe murdered and killed.
Yeah, here's the annoying thing, right? I mean, we saw what we saw, and people that have watched the special, right, there, you know, you saw like a 2.6 rating on Google, a 4.8 on IMDb, something else, 42% of users liking the right. It's really low rated, right? But here's the deal: this guy is like the Dylan Burns, and I don't mean Dylan Burns now. I mean Dylan Burns back when Dylan Burns mattered, back when Dylan Burns was relevant, right? This is the Dylan Burns circa 2021 of the comedy circuit. Or sorry, the comedy circuit, the podcast circuit, right? So, but yeah, for comics too, right? He has a lot of comics on. He can make your career, right? People are going to glaze him the fuck up, and it doesn't matter how bad his comedy special is. They will retcon this shit. They will praise this shit into infinity because they need his platform. Just like Demon Mama would praise Dylan Burns, and I mean, we saw how that went for her. We saw how she got used and abused by that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm relating to it to, an experience as a streamer, chat, of an emperor with no clothes. That is exactly what Joe Rogan is. That is exactly who he is. That's wild. That's wild. That's wild that being in the position of having the #1 podcast, I don't know, in the world, at least in the country, that's what situation that puts you in. People obligatorily, you can't say bad things about him. You must say good things about him, including this piece of shit that he just excreted all over the stage, all over Netflix, right? This absolute turd that he just dropped is going to be shined up by every shithead, pseudo-intellectual dark web weirdo. Yeah, chat. I don't know. I'm sorry. It makes me mad. I think it might be I think you're right. I think it probably is the world. Yeah, he's huge. This is going to be praised. It's going to be retcon, chat. We saw what we saw, and if you watch it, like I said, you can see all of it. So you can make up your own mind. If Elephant's Graveyard here has the right take on it, I can't imagine that, like, oh no, he just cut out all the good stuff. All the rest of the shit was just killer, just fucking killer, right? The rest of the Netflix special was great, and Elephant's Graveyard is just a hater. Yeah, keep coping. But yeah, it's going to be like history is going to be changed by clout. And I fucking hate to see shit changed by clout. I fucking hate to see the preponderance, the balance of the opinion, which you can see, right? You can see like the ratings that this thing is getting. You can see how people watching it that don't have to worry about going on Rogan appraise the special, right? Versus how you're going to hear about the special from anybody who could ever possibly be on that podcast, which again, like political political pundits, right? Comedians, failed professors from Canada, right? All these people, they're going to be glazing this guy up
and massacred.
It's almost like there's an oligarchy.
And chopped up all the bodies into little tiny chunks, threw them in the Austin River, whatever that's called.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah,
dude.
Wait, Sandler even blank him up for up a little and he's supposed to be nice? Wait. I don't know if you mean lit him up a little or if you mean glazed him up a little. I don't even know which.
I like it because him saying the N-word.
All these rich guys are the same.
So funny. So funny. It said the N-word.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's the height of comedy. I suggest Wanda Sykes for people who want good stand-up.
Oh, it's so good. It was so good, man. That's good. That's good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about the word retard.
They'll kiss the ring for that podcast invite and the...
Wait, was that... Was that parody? Was that... What was that? What was that? Josh Johnson is my favorite current comedian.
Cycle of comedy shit will go on and on and on. But, like we've discussed here before, everything has its cycle. Joe has completely run out of ideas, and his mind is ruined by social media. It can happen. It can. Joe has never been very good at comedy, but somehow he gets to be the #1 guy, the big gatekeeper. He's our era's Johnny Carson, and getting the invite to Joe's podcast is the new bringing you over to the couch or whatever. This special will go down as Joe's last. He's like 60 or 70 years old, and it's clear...
I think he's 60, right? Is he 60?
...that his heart isn't in it anymore. This thing was just a greatest hits montage of the worst era of this guy's...
There's Jim Brewer.
...podcast, condensed into an hour.
Did you just assume my gender?
Every great has...
Great stuff, Joe. Cutting edge shit.
...their final moments. And sometimes we don't even realize it's a final moment until it's already passed us by. Wayne Gretzky had his final goal, his final shift. Michael Jordan, his final dunk.
He's 57.
Elvis, his final song. The last time you ever pick up your son.
Trump, his final coup.
Your final summer sunset. And Joe Rogan, his final stool hump. Gotta go back to 2016. We didn't even realize it at the time, but we were witnessing Joe...
Wait, so he didn't hump the stool on the special.
His final stool fucking.
Did he just get shamed too much?
Gotta appreciate every moment like it's the last, guys.
Yo! Omega Star, thank you for the 100 bits. Fascinating watching the evolution backwards. Yeah, basically. He's regressing into an ape. Yes, yeah. You can't polish a turd. Well, he's gonna try. What's up, Canadian Brunch? Oh wait, let me allow your chat. Yeah, I'm not a racist, says Rogan. I just play one on TV. Truly love watching him be unraveled in this way. It's pretty satisfying.
He didn't mount that thing once during this special.
I know, that's what I got played. I got played, chat.
So disappointing. You gotta play the hits.
I'm disappointed.
And now he's this sad Charles Foster Kane figure. All the money in the world and never satisfied. All his decent friends scared away. The only friends he...
Wait, this is what is it called? This is the Rosebud thing. What is this called? Oh my god, chat, I can't remember. I know this. This is like a great cinema piece or something. All I can remember is Rosebud. What is it called, though? Citizen Kane. God damn it. I'm like, they said Kane. And I'm like, what is it called? What could it possibly be called? I don't know. It's Citizen freaking Kane. Okay.
Has left, just kiss his ass and tell him he's amazing. That's the only explanation for him thinking this was his greatest set of all time leading up to this live stream. No real friend would allow Joe to gringo poppy himself.
I should see that sometime. You know, I've never watched Citizen Kane. There's a lot of cinema that I'm not well versed in cinema at all. I never have time to watch movies, and the movies that I have watched often come from a time when I was dating somebody who was really into movies, and you know, they weren't good movies, right? No offense to my ex if you're out there. you know, it's subjective. It's subjective, but you know, I watched a lot of I watched a lot of Adam Sandler with them. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, it's no Citizen Kane. Happy Madison? Wait, no, that's not what it's called. What is it called? Billy Madison. Yeah, is no Citizen Kane.
Now this Netflix thing is getting panned by.
But I should sometime watch actual good movies, actual cinema. I've got a friend who watches that stuff, art house films, and she seems pretty smart.
Just about everyone. And despite Joe insisting that he doesn't read comments, it's obvious that.
There we go. There we go. That's IMDb roasting this guy. But again, like I said, it's going to be retconned. It's not going to matter. It is not going to matter, given how many of these wannabe comics, wannabe influencers, anybody who could possibly hope to come on his show is going to glaze him the fuck up.
He does, and the feedback from this thing is going to wound him deeply. And the weird thing is, he didn't even need to do this. He's got more money than he knows what to do with. He just did this because he still wants people to think he's
a vanity project.
Funny. This guy literally cries when he talks about becoming a stand-up and getting passed at the Comedy Store. He wants to be a comic so bad, and he's just getting torn.
Troll 2 is the shit. Wait, what are you talking about? Yeah, Troll 2 is actually really good. True cinematic disaster piece, Troll 2. You know, I gotta give my ex credit for that. We did watch Troll 2. So I did get some cinema.
Apart out there.
Who knows what kind of bullshit act I would have had if I didn't run in.
Watching art house flicks is fun. Yeah, but also there's a whole history of you know what I mean? Oh my God, I almost said Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski, kind of complicated figure there. What, who's the Apocalypse Now guy? Who's the Apocalypse? You could tell that I don't know real cinema, but I know that there is real cinema out there. And I haven't seen very much of it. And that's true. I don't usually regret much. Hey, look, I just gotta watch stuff. I gotta watch good stuff. It's Oliver Stone that does Apocalypse Now. Last Jedi was terrible cinema. Francis Ford Coppola. Yes, it's Francis Ford Coppola. I'm too much, or I'm too little. I feel like a pseudo-intellectual when it comes to. I've seen Dancer in the Dark. Is that good? Enter the Void is the most artsy, art house film. I've seen Liquid Sky. That's definitely not cinema.
Mitzi, if I didn't get past at the store, one of the reasons why she passed me is just a trick that
Peanut Butter movie. What is that?
We all used to do. I learned from the Todd. He would sit in the back of the room, and he would sat.
I saw Enter the Void on Mescal, and it was insane.
Next to Mitzi, while Mitzi watched me, he would laugh hard. I went up there and I did my set, and he laughed really hard. Mitzi.
Satoshi Kon manga movie, Paprika. Wait, it's on YouTube right now for free? Oh, I gotta see that. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Just grabbed my arm. She goes, "You're really funny." Wow. I'm calling for spots. You're a paid regular. Wow. That was more important to me than any TV show. The TV show was just a lot of money. It was I couldn't sleep that night.
News radio. He's talking about news radio, right?
I was like, I'm a paid regular. I'm a real comedian. I'm a real comedian. I'm at the store. I'm a real comedian. I'm at the Comedy Store. Dude, I always knew I was going there. It was a religious calling. And the Comedy Store was terrible. And there was all these people that she passed that were I'm telling you, talentless.
January 6th, lock them up. Lock them all up.
The sad thing is, despite it
I wonder what that joke was about.
Being the meaning of life or whatever, Joe's legacy will not be.
Is he making fun of resistance people? Hashtag resistance people? What was that one?
His comedy. He will be remembered as
that's who we're gonna laugh at. The person saying lock them up for January 6th. Maybe he was making fun of lefties saying that they're all oh no, these protesters need to. It's probably some joke about protesters versus January Sixers or something.
The stool humper who won the entertainment industry.
The clowns, wait, the clowns from Killer Clowns were reused in Ernest Scared Stupid Trolls? That is a good movie. I appreciate a good Ernest flick, right? That's the kind of stuff that my ex would watch with me. Was that or like... I mean, there was some good stuff too. We watched a bit of One Piece. One Piece is good, no?
Industry lottery. Then
Have I ever seen Perfect Blue? I don't think so.
Voluntarily let the world collectively watch him go insane on the internet over the course of thousands.
Yeah, my ex was like super into comedy. Yeah, it's probably low-key racist anti-BLM stuff. Yep, you're right.
Thousands of hours of...
The Room. Oh God, I gotta see that. Oh no, not Ernest Goes to Africa. That one is racist, isn't it? I don't remember what, but something extremely racist happens in that movie. Oh shit, that character. He disguises himself as like a guy from India and he does this like accent and it's really bad. Big Trouble in Little China?
Podcasting. A cautionary tale of money...
Well, wait, was Ernest racist? Was the guy that played Ernest, was he racist? The Cube. Wait, I have seen that one. I have seen that one. Wait, what's going on? Are we misclicking some buttons?
Dunning-Kruger and
The Cube is fun. Wasn't the Cube like existential, like, wasn't it scary? I thought the Cube was scary.
Reconciled childhood trauma. And now Joe's really painted himself into a corner with this new guy texting.
What about The Cell? Wait, I don't know about The Cell. What is The Cell?
This project of his. And even his new audience has started to turn on him. Now he's truly up a creek, waist deep in the big muddy, because he made the mistake of expressing a political opinion on his podcast, an alleged holy citadel of free speech. Those new fans of his say he endorsed the wrong guy for president.
Oh God, I forget. Yeah, here we go. Here we come full circle. This is why he'll be canceled, right? Not for comparing an audience in a black neighborhood to the Planet of the Apes, not for any of the fucked up things that he said. No, for supporting RFK Jr.
They are pissed. Joe's dusted off and wheeled out his apology podium once again. But it's too late. And now Trump is using his sorcery to turn his guys against Joe, even encouraging UFC fans to start booing.
See, I don't think that'll happen, right? UFC fans will not boo Joe Rogan. That's just, like, Joe Rogan's more in with UFC than Donald Trump. If anything, I don't think this is actually, like, I don't know, chat. Like, I feel like having hardcore MAGA turn on him is not really going to hurt him that much. Am I wrong?
Him at the next
Repo, the genetic opera. I've heard people say that's really good. Yeah, they love Rogan more. I think. Do you remember the Species series? Those were disgusting and misogynistic. I feel like I've been compared to Species.
Next event. Joe's in a bind.
But I've never seen it, so I don't know what it means.
And it's a beautiful bind. If Trump loses...
I think they're worried I'll lay eggs in them or something.
All these guys are going to blame Joe and actively despise him forever. And if Trump wins, well, he has vowed to seek vengeance on all his critics in the media, which now includes Joe, who will only remain safe as long as his Navy SEAL pals stay loyal. Oh boy, that is bad. The world is leaving Joe behind. And just like Johnny Carson, I expect Joe will also become just a reclusive, depressed, rich guy, holed up in his own personal Alamo, surrounded by rock-hard retired Navy SEAL guys just snorting HGH and going on popper.
When they say rock hard, do they mean that they're yoked? Or are we talking about something else? Rock hard Navy SEALs guys? Grand Theft Autobot says, as a zombie horror fan, I would recommend A Train to Busan. Not sure where it's streaming. I am a Hero, Amazon Prime. Oh, I've got Amazon Prime. At least I think I do. I don't know if my subscription might have run out. I don't know. Oh my God, chat. I gotta like make sure not to renew that because I can't afford it. But Species about a sexy alien woman that unalived men with their feminine wiles. I mean, based. Like a
fueled social media binges, just like Johnny. And before I go, there was one joke I did enjoy.
The funniest way for me to die is if I die from COVID.
Okay, yes, it would. An honest bit, and that was actually...
COVID has the chance to do the funniest thing right now. Not that it should, but it has the chance.
A good joke. I enjoyed that. But I do have to disagree. It would be much funnier if he was discovered dead and frozen solid inside his famous ice bath. Just frozen over with nothing but a bit of bald scalp and 2 rock-hard frozen nipples poking through the ice layer on top. Well, now that Joe's stand-up cycle is finally closed, he'll be sent off...
God damn. Donnie Darko is really good, yeah.
Come and gone in and out of our lives like clouds that wisp together in the summer sky, where they are formed into ephemeral shapes, then blown away. And so we all too will blow away. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys. We'll all be gone soon, thank God. Appreciate each moment like it's your last, because it could be. Thanks for everything, Joe. Thank you for your service. You fought long and hard, very hard. But now it's time to burn the boats. Please stay in your castle and never do comedy again, please. Burn down this shitty Joe Rogan sphere of influence and finally allow the comedy ecosystem to regrow from its ashes.
Wouldn't that be cool, chat? Look, I feel like... I don't want to say this, right? But it feels like the comedy world is like hostile to anybody like me. I would never think of trying stand-up. Specifically because you've got to kiss the asses of some very fucked up people. And I don't even mean like the gatekeepers like Joe Rogan, right? I'm talking about the audience. You got to have a certain mentality that includes punching down. I don't really, am I wrong about this? Maybe I just have a, biased view of the comedy world. But yeah, I mean, it does feel like, I've got a friend who does comedy actually, and this has something to this effect, right? The Roganification of comedy. Comedy dates fast and is cringe. That's true. 2FA is trippier is the trippier of the analogs? Wait, the analog like horrors? Analog horror? Oh, speaking of movies and analog horror, does anybody know there was supposed to be a Backrooms movie? Now, I kind of think that they missed their moment. I don't think anybody even thinks of the Backrooms anymore. And even though Kane Pixel made an iconic series, I don't really think a Backrooms, series were it to come out right now would do very well. But I'm still interested. I'm still very interested in what Kane, how Kane Pixel's Backrooms would be adapted into cinema. But I haven't heard anything about it, and I suspect it probably died. Because I mean, if they're smart and they are aware of trends, they know that the trend of the Backrooms is. I mean, when they found the actual location that the picture was taken, that yellow, office building place that that serves as the starting material for the crowdsourced analog horror that is Backrooms, right? When they found it in real life, I feel like it was over. I feel like it was over right then. To be honest, the Backrooms are neat, but maybe I should get into SCP. I've only looked at a little bit of SCP, but I like the crowdsourced nature of it. We're talking about research chemicals. Of course, research chemicals.
The only thing good that could come out of this special is that it hopefully destroys Joe's comedy ambitions completely, and he finally retires.
He should sell the comedy club too.
But I do believe him when he says that this was the...
Like, didn't he kind of fuck up? I don't know. Why do I blame Rogan for this? No, I'm sure rents are what fucked up Austin. I'm sure that the fact that nobody can afford to live there is what fucked up Austin. But in my mind, I think of it as Joe Rogan. I think of Austin as having become Joe Roganified. The Austin that I wish I could visit, chat, is the Austin of Richard Linklater, who is probably the only good director that I've ever watched very much of. And by very much, I mean very little. And I probably need to watch the rest of his catalog.
The hardest he's ever worked at anything. This is the guy who couldn't handle more than 2 weeks of working in construction, the only real job he's ever had, and whose idea of hardship is spending 30 minutes in a sauna. Something regular people do to relax. I give this thing a 1 out of 5. Thanks. And sorry. Gotta go.
Gotta go. Thank you. Elephant Graveyard. That was a great video. That was a great video. Look, I'm gonna slip you that link again, just in case you're not subscribed to this person. In fact, I just realized I'm not subscribed to that person. Let me fix that right now. You should also like and subscribe this stream if you have not already. But I really gotta recommend this channel. Look, as bad as Joe Rogan's comedy special looks to be, I feel like at least something good came out of it. At least something good came out of it, right? I'm happy about that. That's his idea, yeah, of a trying experience. Well, I feel like wouldn't his ice bath be more difficult? Yeah, saunas are fucking relaxing. And you know what? If they're not, if it's painful, if it's unpleasant, you probably shouldn't be in the sauna. Am I right about this? Like, is there any benefit in, like, making yourself miserable? I feel like you're only supposed to be in there for, like, a certain amount of time. I don't think it's one of these no pain, no gain kind of things. I feel like a sauna, you know, a sauna can be deadly. They found lights on Sirius. Wait, what is Sirius? Is that like a moon or something? Oh my god, I'm reading the wrong chat. I'm reading the wrong chat. Yo. Dead chat is dead. Requiem for a Dream is really good. I've heard it's hard to watch though. You don't like them being saunas? For some reason, when I had a gym membership, I used to like always spend time in the sauna. Like I kind of thought that it would make my muscles not be as sore somehow. I don't know if that's true. Elephant Graveyard proved that Joe Rogan is hilarious, but completely unintentionally. Yeah, it's like in an Alex Jones sort of way. Honestly, it's an interesting viewing, but it's intense viewing, but it's very good. Requiem for a Dream. That was wild. Well, chat, I'm looking at the poll. 69 of you have voted on the new poll. Ooh, and it's tied. Mr. Beast hires a PDF, 32%. Vosh road rages on bikers, 32%. J.K. Rowling molds symbiote, 25%. NCC going medieval on a certain pseudo-intellectual squid head, only 12%. Only 12%. If we add in the influence of, wait, didn't somebody, I feel like somebody said Vox Populi. I don't think I put somebody. Okay, chat, if I haven't gotten here, wait, you can see this, right? Above me. It's right here, right? Has anybody donated and I haven't counted your super chat or whatever? Wait, a Megastar, you did 2 more 100 bits and you were saying Fallout, so I'll put Fallout up to 43. Is there anyone else I've missed? I want to know. And also, I mean, you could technically still donate if you want to change these results. It looks like right now that Vosh road rages on bikers is winning. You said violence. Oh, shit. You know what that means, chat. Oh my god. Narwhal by nature may have just upended this poll. Let's check. I might have to do math after all. Okay, wait. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, violence just got 47 extra percent chat. Oh my god. Look, chat chose peace, but the donors chose violence. That's
Sanchi super chatted $10. Vaush versus Biker.
Vaush versus Biker. Okay, wait. Let's take a look. Okay, so it might actually be close. I'm gonna start to do the math. If anything comes in the moment, and or if anybody votes, vote if you haven't already. Vote as if your life depended upon it. Vote as if my life depended on it. So Vaush versus Road Rage has got 25% extra. NCC dunks on a certain president, 47%. Technically 47.1% if I'm being... No, wait, let's make it 47.2%. I will round it up. As I should. I couldn't help it. Okay, well, you may have just saved me from hate. All right, I gotta do the math here. All right, Bosch is getting 25% plus 32%, which makes it 57. It's got a score of 57. NCC dunks on Squidhead. Oh my god. Sasha G with a gift membership. That is 59.2%. That is slightly ahead, but I guess all eyes turn to Sasha G. Sasha G, all of the power in the world now rests in your hands. Fallout New Vegas. Okay, well, or not. That doesn't change. Okay, that does get us closer to playing some Fallout. And I said I thought I would drop the rad meter like the level necessary to instigate a new stream of Fallout New Vegas. I said I would drop that to 50%, so we're pretty close to that. But chat, right now, unless I've missed somebody's dono, it looks like violence has been chosen. Am I wrong about that somehow? 57, 59.2. Sorry if you were hoping for something else. No, I need to know what your preference is, right? That's literally what I'm asking. Anti
super chatted $9.99.
Ooh.
Correct if he is talking about Portland, Oregon bikers.
Now, Auntie, are you talking about cyclists when you say bikers? Because that's not the kind of, at least to my knowledge, that's not the kind of. Also, is that a donation to Vosh Road Rages on Bikers? It's a bit of a dono war. So if you've got strong feelings and a few dollars in your pocket, you might be able to change the fate of the world. Wait, yes and no? Wait, so do you mean, because I think that he's talking about bikers, like Harley people. Like Hell's Angels, I don't know. They wouldn't be Hell's Angels though, right? They aren't like, they'd be like dads. Isn't it usually dads that like, it's 3:18 and I'm about to crack another beer open or try this Oreo flavor vape. That sounds kind of delicious. You need sleep. Hell's Angels are Northern California. Oh, that's true. But yeah, Auntie, are you voting for the Vosh option? Because you did mention it. It is dads that ride motorcycles. So Vosh is mad at dads. But also, wasn't there like a South Park about this? There's like a South Park where Cartman calls like motorcyclists the F-slur. Why do bikers ride motorcycles and cyclists ride bikes? I don't know. Whose video was that? That was Elephant Graveyard. And like, good question. I will be happy to provide the link once again for anybody who didn't get it yet. We've had an interesting stream. Oh, Auntie
super chatted $19.99. Vote for Voosh.
Voting for Voosh. I gotcha. Okay, so both of those are going to go to Voosh. So, that means that it's actually 87. Okay, well, that is Voosh pulling away. You know, it's funny because when I gotta admit, when I first put NCC dunks on President Sunday, I kind of thought that chat would definitely choose it, and I was prepared for it, right? I didn't realize that I was going to stream for so long, and I feel like dunking on Sunday only works if I have like not been on stream too long. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. It's important. It's important, right? And we don't want to do too much of it, right? I'm not that mad about being accused of being on Valium and having Sunday's viewers told that like many streamers have warned him about me and I'm like the worst thing since sliced cheese or whatever the fuck he said about me. I haven't even watched, I've just heard about it from other people, honestly. That Elephant Graveyard got one more new sub. It's a great channel from what I can tell. Like that is a great video. And honestly, like you can see, okay, wait, let me show you. This is kind of a nice story. All right, so if you look back, what did they start off? Oh no, wait, I mean, they've been punching above their weight class seemingly for their entire YouTube career. Some of their stuff didn't do that well. Oh wait, no, some of it's music actually. But yeah, at some point they came into their own. They started talking about Joe Rogan. They've got a video on Steven Crowder. They got covers of the Misfits. They got a cover of Stacy's mom. Some wrestling stuff. But look, it doesn't look... Yeah, they've got Dave Lucas is uncancelable. Is everything wrong with the Austin comedy? Yo, so maybe this is an Austin person. I get the feeling this is an Austin person. Comedy Purgatory with Jerry Seinfeld. But look at this. Burn the Boats. 668 views. Let me say that again. 668,000 views. There we go. There we go. I'm sorry. 668 views. Good job. Good job. Oh my God. Great job. No, it is, that is quite some numbers there. So they're finally getting rewarded for some really good work, and you love to see it. You love to see it. It's kind of a small channel, right? This is like, this channel, Chad, for perspective, This channel is slightly smaller than Chud Logic. I don't think it'll stay that way. I don't think it'll stay that way. They might not be talking to Nicholas Diorio, but they've got a much better, you know, prognosis than Chud Logic. Anyway, chat, it appears that we have got an answer as far as what wins the what wins the day, what's going to get the bonus content. And just as chat, has chosen Vosh Road Rages on Bikers, the donors have chosen that as well. Although we did have a really close call there, with me almost having to dunk on President Sunday on the last day of, this is like my Friday for perspective, right? Imagine if you worked on Sunday through Friday, right? This would be my Friday. I plan to take tomorrow off, get some videos done. I guess I'm really not taking shit off, am I? I'm going to be editing tomorrow, chat. I'm going to be editing, but that's different than streaming, so it'll be a break. But yeah, like on my last streaming day, that would have been wild to be like, okay, let's go after Sunday for his dodgy opinions on the left, right? His questionable thoughts on activism, and we'll do it someday, chat. We'll do it someday. We'll do it Sunday. How about that? We make Sunday the day for Suntent. No, just kidding. I'm not going to integrate. I don't think Sunday's that interesting. I hate phone super chats for the reason that my phone wants to misspell everything when I select words on the phone, and it chops it up with an autocorrects. Oh yeah, and then the sassy British voice that reads out your super chat sometimes misreads stuff. Wait, did it give you your obligatory sounds? Did it do the stream alert thing that it's supposed to go like vote for Voosh, and then it's also supposed to go like Volsh would only be correct if he is talking about Portland, Oregon bikers. I don't think it did that, so I just did that for you manually. Do I not have YouTube? Oh my god. Maybe I have. Oh, chat, I bet I do. I do. No, that's YouTube goals. Wait, YouTube alerts. Twitch alerts, Throne alerts. Where are YouTube alerts? YouTube members. YouTube. They're turned off. They're turned off, chat. So that's why you didn't get your obligatory sound and having like a sassy British voice interrupt me, which is one of the best things about doing a super chat. If you do a super chat for anything over than $5, it literally interrupts me. And you know, sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need that. But yeah, if we are all set, right? If anybody has an objection to doing this content, this Squid Tips video, speak now or forever hold your peace. He owes Irene an apology. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to get an apology from him. Unless my channel gets bigger than his channel, then he would probably... Oh my gosh, this is kind of a... This is a bit of a slog. Did you clean your squid properly? Wait, when you say clean my squid, is that like the way that you clean a fish? I mean, again, chat, I feel like I would prefer... Look, I don't eat meat, but I feel like I would prefer octopus to squid. Something about eating a squid just doesn't seem right. He does like to talk about eating people, though. He does like to talk about, use vor as a metaphor for destroying people in content, so be very on brand. But yeah, there's the video. Again, chat. Speak now or forever hold your peace if you, well, I mean, I don't think the votes will change anything. and it would take a lot of dono money to change anything. So I feel like we're going through. Octopus is so chewy, like in a good way. Wait, what is octopus fishier? I've just seen I can't eat octopus because they are too intelligent. Yeah, I mean, I don't eat animals. Calamari is good. Wait, have I had calamari? I feel like I must have had it. That reminds me, if you haven't seen Squid Game, you got to watch it now. Well, what we got to watch now, as long as everybody's cool with it, right? Going once, going twice is Squid Tips.
It's not a personal attack. I'll make it a personal attack if you bring it up, though. Like, if I say something broadly about how motorcycles are objectively fucking bad, which they are, by the way.
Are they? Why does Vosh think this?
Like, they just are. They just
suck. They're just bad.
Bad, you know.
Motorcycle bad.
And you're gonna give me like a, you know, like a, well, no, actually, like, then of course, like, you're making yourself a bit of a target there, right? But like, I'm not gonna go to you out on the street and you're in a motorcycle and I'm gonna be like, wow, fuck you. Like, I don't know your life, but if you're gonna come at me on that, what is bad about them? Sure.
Yeah, what is bad about them?
Okay, well, first of all, they're unnecessarily loud. Second of all, they're legally permitted to move irregularly. The shape of the motor.
Irregularly? Is he talking about they're allowed to like straddle the lanes?
Motorcycle dictates its use in like a negative way, I think, in a deleterious fashion, you know. They're dangerous to the rider significantly. They can't, like, they have no utility the way that a car has. You can't really like carry groceries with a motorcycle.
Oh, that's bullshit. I can carry groceries with a fucking bike, Vosh. With a cycle, with my, like, right? This is not...
Let's be real here. Motorcyclists tend to be...
I used to deliver food to people on a bike.
Driven by douchebags. Like, okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's getting personal. It's getting personal. But like, look who it's coming from, right? King douchebag himself.
Let's be clear on this one. Motorcyclists die way more often than other motorists. And that might be like a good product of natural selection. Fuck motorcycle. Sorry, Mistress Lynn. Sorry about your son. Hope your son's all right. Hope your son stops riding.
Okay, if I ever get a chance to talk to Squid Tips, I want to ask Squid Tips about, what is it called? Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Because I've read part of that, and I just don't know if it's real. But it seems real, because like the way that they describe that, I remember it talks about like going somewhere on a bike versus going somewhere in a car is different, because you've actually like occupied all the space in the bike, right? You've sort of, you know, you're out in the landscape. You're not separated. You're not behind this like windshield. You're not in a box, right? And that means that there's like a feeling of freedom. And look, I've experienced exactly this with you know, like with a bike. Obviously, you know, I'm riding, you know, 50 miles most, you know, so you can go a lot further on a motorcycle, but I wonder how accurate that book is. Anybody read that? Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance? My right and my left hands carry groceries. Wait, on a bike? Yeah, or you could, you know, use panniers, or have a backpack, or yeah, there's a lot of ways to carry things on a bike. Absolutely. In Colombia, they made a train out of bikes? Really?
But fuck motorcyclists, fuck them weaving between lanes, fuck them.
Wait, how long do I have before I can post on the Discord? We're just making sure that, like, I think the mods are being a little extra careful about the Discord because, well, if you haven't noticed, I've gotten myself into a lot of drama just by bringing Sunday and Tyler on. Izzy, did you just sign up? Lane splitting does make me nervous as fuck. I mean, I'm sure that Squid Tips will talk about that. Okay, so you just now did? All right, let's make that happen. I just got to make sure I don't accidentally let Alf in, right? That is the one old meme about my channel that I feel like I never explained. We cannot let Alf in. Alf is... And we know that that weird fucker is going to be trying to get in. Oh my god, chat. I hate fucking drama. I hate having to worry about who I let into Discord and shit. Like I said, I would prefer to just make content if I could. What are we watching? We're watching Squid Tips, Cherry Queen. This is Vaush talking about why he hates motorcycles, and Squid Tips is a motorcycle YouTuber.
Their loud ass fucking, mufflers or lack thereof. Holy shit. Drive a regular car or go on a bus. All right?
Like a lot of millennials, I kind of woke up politically after 8 years of Obama in the 2015-2016 timeframe when I looked at my country and said, what the fuck is going on here? I never had a cable subscription or anything, so where I went for political information was YouTube. It's actually what brought me to the platform in the first place. And one of the first people YouTube introduced me to was a man by the name of Stephen Kenneth Bonnell.
Destiny Bonnell. God damn. Yes, Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell III. That's right. Clover in Time says, real boomer tape by Voosh. Yeah. Yeah.
The second, aka Destiny.
I always say the third just to fuck with him, but yeah, it's the second.
Specifically, a conversation I had with a man named...
Also, why not just Junior? Why not Stephen Kenneth Bonnell Jr.? Because that's what the second is, right? Destiny is a junior, and he won't accept that. Cherry Queen says, I'm a motorcycle fan. Hell, I have one. A Yamaha V-Star, let me try to say this right. 1100cc classic? Is that how you say it? Maybe it's culture. His father. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Maybe it's culture. Oh, culture. Maybe it's cultural. Yes. I know they have Boso Zuku in Japan, and I remember those scooter gangs from Quadrophenia. Yeah, wait, wasn't it like it was like the mods versus the rockers? But right, weren't the rockers on like motorcycles like proper, and then the mods were in the GS scooters? GS scooter with my, I can't remember.
Jontron, who I still have seen almost zero content from, but apparently was some sort of comedy guy. The fact that people who were professional gamers...
Yeah, I've never actually watched Jontron either. I only know of Jontron as the racist.
Gamers and comedy YouTubers were now talking about politics, and I was realizing how much racist sentiment was like sitting right underneath the surface of these people was really illuminating for me.
Well, why?
Wow, this is going to be a good video.
But they're not allowed to because they're called racist by people like you.
If you wanted to fix crime in the United States, the best way to do it would be to deport all of the poor people, because poor whites commit a lot of crime too, disproportionately compared to wealthier whites.
That's just not true. But okay,
wait,
you can
hold on, wait. You don't think that
Well,
poverty...
yeah, of course. Well, yes. In relative
terms, yes.
In relative to wealthy whites, yes.
Sure.
You're correct.
Okay, so do you think that poor blacks probably commit more crime?
Okay, so here's the deal, right? Jontron gets revealed as a really nasty racist in this video. If you haven't seen this, right? I mean, without anybody really knowing it, just through debating Destiny, like, he ends up just biting the bullet on some really racist shit. However, I've got to say, I don't think I've seen this video before, because that's a shit take from Destiny. He's not really saying they should. He's saying, like, I think JonTron's saying something about like deporting like undocumented people or deporting I don't know. It might even be more like racially, centered than that, right? And Destiny's argument is that, like, by virtue of your argument, we could justify deporting poor people, but deporting poor white people, which JonTron ostensibly doesn't want to do, based on the fact that poor people commit more crime. Now, Destiny, I gotta say, is that just like your feels? Do you think he has like a statistics to back this up, or do you think he's just going with like, yeah, it seems right? That who does crime? It's not rich people. I feel like we've got a very rich person, a former president that's charged with a large number of crimes, and they're not just like crimes, they're like really bad crimes. They're crimes that involve like national security and shit, right? In a number of different ways. They're crimes that involve the ability of what exists of a democracy in the United States to continue to be a democracy and not be some kind of fucked up strongman government, right? It's just such a weird thing. It's just such a weird take. And it kind of amazes me that nobody had an issue with the shit that Destiny was saying back then. Everybody's focused on JonTron here. And yeah, JonTron's, apparently pretty racist, but god damn, Destiny, god damn.
To wealthier black people?
They do. Wealthy blacks also commit wealthy whites.
Wait. You don't think that
Well,
poverty...
yeah, of course. Well, yes. In relative
terms,
to
yes.
in relative to wealthy whites, yes.
Sure.
You're correct.
Okay, so do you think that poor blacks probably commit more crime relative to wealthier black people?
They do. Wealthy blacks also commit
Chat.
more crime than poor whites.
Do you think that Destiny's ever heard of like white collar crime? Like, right?
Wait, what?
It is part of why I wanted to jump on the YouTube platform, is because I realized, man, people needed to be educated. Destiny is how I got first introduced to Vosh, as he was a community member going by the name Irish Laddie, who came on stream a couple of times. And what I liked about him was he spoke very confidently about leftist politics.
Like every time you go down a toy store and you see all that crap, that plastic, just that shit, toy stores are full of shit. And you look down the aisles and you look on the shelves and you see all that crap. All of that is R&D development, factory work time, and material resources that could have been put towards stuff that actually matters and gone.
Robert G says, I don't see color.
People who need it. And the only thing keeping that shit there is the...
Oh shit, that's actually a really good joke, Robert G.
This was a new thing to me that I didn't really understand, and I was interested to hear more, so when he started his own platform, I followed. From about 2019 to about 2022,
You were a Voshite. And you were also a Destinoid. You were a DGGer.
Almost all of Vosh's YouTube videos. One of the lessons I got from watching years of debate stream content is that so much of it is just internet bullshit.
Oh my god, chat. He lives in a really beautiful place. Like, what part of the country is this? This is really pretty.
Two people don't solve issues by yelling one sentence at each other back and forth. It comes from deep dialogue where you are getting to the root of problems. It's often clarifying miscommunication. It's often defining terms. It's also coming to a shared understanding and then moving forward from there on what is to be done. What I want to do is
Chat's saying it's like the Pacific Northwest.
I want to take people who watch Vosh sincerely the same way that I did.
God damn.
With the intent to educate themselves and inform themselves and become a better person. Because I want to show you how confidently incorrect he can be about things that actually fucking matter to normal people in society.
Who is this guy? Because I'm agreeing with him about the debate bro scene. Yeah. And look, he's putting it all on the table. Like, he used to be, into this stuff, right? He used to be a fan of both Destiny and Vosh. And, while I was never super involved in either of the communities, I can say that I've watched, both of their content at various times, and enjoyed it, and not seen anything that objectionable. But yeah, the deeper I looked, and once, honestly, for me, what was very pilling about the debate sphere was when Destiny came on my stream. I was talking to some people, and Destiny apparently just wanted in on the conversation. So my friend said, "Can we let Destiny into the Discord?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. He's a pretty big streamer. This should be interesting, right?" And he comes on and he basically wants to argue with me that Demon Mama is this, demon. Basically, he's arguing for Demon Mama to be deplatformed. Now, he didn't say that. He didn't say he wanted to take her channel down or anything right there. I think the kind of deplatforming that he had in mind had a lot more to do with her being driven off the internet, right? And although remember, they never brigade, right? DGG never brigades anyone. Sure. But right, he tries to make this argument to me, and look, I knew Demon Mama at the time. I wasn't friends with her. I didn't have, I guess, a great opinion of her because she's kind of up her own ass, right? But then again, so is Destiny, so is Vosh, so are a lot of streamers. So I can't judge her more harshly. And it felt like he was holding her up to this weird standard. And I can only think that the only justification for that is that she's trans and she embarrassed him in a debate. And she called him out on some of his bullshit, right? So yeah, no, he didn't convince me, of what he was trying to convince me of. I noticed he was really heavy into, talking about cancel culture, right? The reason that Demon Mama was bad in his mind was that he could get canceled. She could say that he was transphobic, and this would cause him to lose sponsorship. So I scheduled another discussion with him, a follow-up discussion where I wanted to describe to him what I thought of cancel culture. And what I think of cancel culture is that the closer approximation to what is described by cancel culture is what marginalized people experience every day and have for time immemorial, right? If you are otherized in society, it's very easy for you're very disposable. And you tend to be subject to a kind of scapegoating that I suspect people like Destiny just don't know about. So I poured my heart out to him. Maybe I was a little wordy. Maybe I was a little rambly. But the motherfucker played the piano. He just played the piano over me, talking. He had no interest in hearing or entertaining or understanding what I had to say. And it didn't make me hate him. I tried to play it off. I tried to, kind of laugh about it. Oh, I got him stun locked. I got him right. But yeah. That should have told me everything I needed to know about Destiny right then. But, I just watched him get more and more right wing since then and just become this absolutely toxic fucker.
And how much of his own personal bias and lifestyle goes into how he speaks about things.
You do know, and I'm being real respectful here, about to say something very insulting. You know that 99% of the guys you see in motorcycles are losers, right? They're fat, balding guys in their 30s or older, sometimes with a much suspiciously younger woman behind them, who doesn't.
Wait, he's in his 30s.
Very happy to be there. They're like dads, or they look like it's like midlife crisis shit or whatever. I'm not saying all of them are, it's just that's the image they give. Vosh is not fucking with cool leather jacket guys. Yeah, you know why?
I'll admit that is my stereotype of bikers, right? They dress they dress in leather. They try to look like they're from some renegade gang, but they're probably driving their bike home to a suburban garage. But that's my stereotype, and I do know people that defy that, right? I had a teacher that was really cool that every day he would ride to work.
Because they don't exist. I've been to biker bars, real biker bars. They're all in their fucking 50s and 60s, dude. They don't exist anymore. That era of people wearing with like the boots and the jeans and the leather jackets, that was an aesthetic. That was an era that is not being replicated anymore. Biker bars are almost exclusively occupied by regular ass people now, or older dudes. It's not cool. You're not free burning anymore.
So from one Vosh fan to
free birding,
another, I hope you will.
Shouldn't it be easy riding?
Sit back, relax, and watch the show as I educate you on motorcycles to a depth that which you have never been exposed to, but is also important because it's going to give you a different lens to look at traffic management and so society through, not one built from centering everything around.
Izzy Sanchi, super chatted $5. Vaush doesn't like bikers because they aren't short stack goblin riding horses.
That's a good point, Izzy Sanchez.
The car, but one around keeping people alive.
All right, let me shift gears here.
And thank you for the super chat.
For a second and say that I do in fact agree.
Oh, look, legalized lane splitting.
With a lot of what Bosch said.
Wait, is it not legal? Why has this guy got no shirt on? I don't know. I think he's kind of vibing.
In this hour-ish long video.
No reason cars...
Or maybe it's just because he's hot? I don't know.
Shouldn't be limited to 80 max. I genuinely do believe that, by the way. I am a believer in that, 100%. The speed of traffic is dictated not by the speed limit, but rather, I'm not even a big speed limit enjoyer. I think that the speed limit should be determined by the design of the car and the design of the road, not by some arbitrary number that decides like how fast you can go. The most effective speed limit is designing a road that makes people feel best driving that speed, not like putting a number there that people have to.
Bad Lefty says, I was saying, as far as I know, it's illegal everywhere.
Deliberately obey. Statistically speaking, 100% of people who ride a motorcycle die.
I think.
Yeah, Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper. I feel like I saw Easy Rider.
Big reason me and Bosch differ in how we think about vehicles in the traffic management system is because our lifestyles are just really different. Bosch is a streamer, so I'm guessing he probably gets a lot more flexibility about when and
Sasha G says it's legal in California. Not gonna lie, this video reminded me that men can be attractive, but I'm not gonna explain that further. Vush has some stupid takes. What is this nonsense? This is a motorcycle YouTuber named Squid Tips, and he's responding to some just nonsense that Vosh has been talking about cyclists, right? Now, I said before, I have, I do have a stereotype of who cyclists are, but it's not quite as limited as Vosh's is. Like, I do have that idea that, like, but then again, like, I mean, you could see what kind of bike that he's riding, and honestly, I guess my stereotype of is more of like a stereotype of like Harley riders, right?
How he chooses to commute on the road.
Like I think of them as like bikers for Trump, right?
Ways compared to people who work the 9-to-5 grind 40 hours a week like I do. I got my motorcycle license back in 2006 when I was working at Geek Squad in Anchorage, Alaska, and could only ride functionally for 6 months out of the year because the other 6 months there was snow on the ground. I converted away from cars as my primary form of transportation back in 2009 when I moved to the Vancouver, Washington area. And since that point, I've racked up like 200,000 plus miles on two-wheel.
Oh shit, Chad, I know about this town. I've heard of this town, right? If it's where I think it is, it's like right outside of Portland, and it's where all the chuds, when they go and like invade into Portland, like when the Patriot Prayer and like Proud Boys people invade Portland, that's where they come from. Is that right? Is it Vancouver, Washington, or am I thinking of another city in Washington?
Vehicles. I've ridden all sizes and styles of bikes at this point, but the vast majority of my experience is on 1,000cc street bikes, which I've used.
Wait, Anchorage, Alaska? Where did that come from? My stepdad is a 50-year-old New agey yoga instructor that rides motorcycles. Nice. Supporting Trump is so Jan 6.
Commute to a full-time job through basically every condition you can imagine. I always loved riding bicycles, so motorcycles seem...
I think this guy should ride motorcycles without a helmet. He looks like his hair would protect him.
Like the obvious upgrade. And once I started riding motorcycles, I began to actively study riding techniques, mechanics, engineering, and physics. You know, I read books like Twist of the Wrist from motorcycle legend Keith Code, who was one of the first people to actually start documenting specific techniques that he learned from professional riders in order to share with the rest of us. I've completed more modern and up-to-date training programs like Champ U, which largely just validated lessons I've learned through my own experience, but it also taught me new ways to explain those techniques to other riders. I got my amateur race license last year, and I've spent lots of time interacting with motorcycle racers, even some at the highest levels of American motorcycle.
Oh my God.
Beyond just learning about bikes though, I've interviewed experts in the failures of our traffic management system like Jesse Singer, author of There Are No Accidents, and testified in support of bills that would improve motorcycle safety.
Lesbians wear biker jackets the best.
Oh, yeah, you want to see me? Hell yeah. Hey, I'm Alex. I'm a Seattle-based motorcycle rider, and I've been lane splitting on Washington roads in the way legalized by this bill for over a decade, and I've never crashed or gotten a ticket for it. Keeping lane splitting illegal is actively harming riders by preventing them from thinking more broadly about how they can ensure their safety on our roadways. Thanks so much for your opportunity to speak. And I am excited to legalize lane splitting and stop being worried about cops stopping me. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. I appreciate it. David, please.
I'm still chuckling too.
I've gone 170 miles on our highways around here. I've crashed and all.
Okay, now wait, is this okay to like admit to stuff like this? Or could this be, oh, Squid Tips used to live in Anchorage, Alaska before Vancouver? Or Seattle?
Fucked around. I have found out, and I have...
Oh my God, that looks so scary. I would be so scared.
Dedicated a lot of my life to teaching others the things that I learned along the way so that they can be safer and live better lives. This isn't to brag. This is just to explain why my conclusions are so different from the normie American understanding of motorcycles.
Gosh, you just called a normie. You just got called a normie. You just got put in the normie box.
And danger, which Vosh demonstrated perfectly. Vosh understands some of the progressive and leftist talking points about urbanism. He does use the magic phrase, fuck cars. But it's clear his understanding is surface level, because if you think motorcycles are antisocial, you haven't really internalized how bad cars are for individuals and society.
You said bikes are louder than cars, how the engines are literally smaller? Because they don't have the same like infrastructure around the engine that can make it make less noise. Like that's what a muffler is, right? Like a muffler needs to be large and, well, some car engines will be louder, but nothing revs like a motorcycle with the muffler made outside. Like the engine's like right there, man. Like in the car, the engine's like shielded, you know, there's like a muffler, it's in the fucking car.
I want to start this conversation with mufflers because that was at the top of Vosh's complaints. He spent more time talking about them than anything else, and it's the most clear example of him going off the rails about something that he has no idea what he's fucking talking about. The exhaust system of a motorcycle does...
Chat, I want you to know that I'm not allowed to thirst after other YouTubers, okay? I just wanted to say that. It's important to remember, especially for me. You can't be like that. Just watch the video, appreciate the cogent takes and the thoughts that are put together, the editing, all the different aspects that go into making such a video, and try to just keep other thoughts completely out of your mind, right? That's what you do.
Reduce the noise of all the explosions coming from inside the engine, but it also adjusts the mixture of fuel and air going to the engine, increasing performance, improving fuel efficiency, and reducing wear on the motor. Since you get worse performance cutting off a muffler, what's more common is people getting a aftermarket system like this Hindle 3/4. These systems make the bike lighter and faster at the cost of capturing less emissions and being louder. Although a non-zero amount of people are going to have cut off their mufflers for the sound specifically and no other reason, this is what Vosh is hearing all the time and bitching about. If a sport bike is louder than the average, this is going to be the reason why. I only have the balls to take this off of this video because...
So wait, do I understand this right? It makes you go faster? The loud bike makes the bike go faster?
It fell off on the freeway while I was in the process of making this video, coincidentally. I literally became the person that Bosch was bitching at people about. but for the not because I wanted to be, asshole.
So that's normal. Oh shit. There it is. It's loud. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm so scared for him.
Oh, it's gonna get all over my fucking white clothes. Fuck. Fuck.
God damn. God damn. That's so scary being on the side. And that's not even like the side. It's like he had to go to the center of the highway. God damn, that's scary.
To use some technology. After riding without a muffler for 30 seconds, I have no desire to do it ever again. For what it's worth, I hate how fucking loud mine is. To compensate for this, I do try to slow down in neighborhoods, minimize my revs. I coast as much as I can, especially in the early morning or late evening. I've worked a graveyard shift before, I get it. But if I saw a bike missing an exhaust, what I would guess would happen is that it got stolen or it got damaged and broken and fell off. You know, I wouldn't assume that they did it on purpose to be a fucking dickhead. I shouldn't have to tell Vosh this, but a lot of Americans don't have an emergency fund that they can just throw at shit that's not critical, you know? But man...
Yeah, I shouldn't have to tell Vosh this, but I do. I do have to remind him.
When you live anywhere in the city, but especially if you live downtown or near the fucking highway, like, shit is just loud, and it is weird to pick motorcycles out of that crowd and say that they are an especially deleterious problem. I had to Google that word for this video. I had never heard that word before.
See, but if you were Vosh, you would have just mispronounced it. You would have just said it wrong and pretended like you were really smart because you wanted to flex your superior vocabulary, even though you'd only ever seen that word written and you'd never heard it pronounced. And you, what would the mispronouncing of he'd say like deleterious. That's complete. That would be completely deleterious.
Thank you, Vosh, for using new words. I am glad to have learned that and added that to my vocabulary.
Deleterious. Fascism. What is it about streamers and like pronouncing things? I don't know, chat. What's up, GNN?
Deleterious.
I like learning and growing. I recorded a bunch of places for this video, and I was often disrupted by loud noises, but almost 0% of them were motorcycles.
Car noise scientifically raises anxiety and aggression levels in a population. All animals respond to this high noise. Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why people say city life is so anxiety inducing. It's what's the thing that Not Just Bikes always says? Cities aren't loud, cars are loud. And it's true. You know, you can go,
yo. Damn, chat. So it's actually bad for me to live like where there's a lot of car noise.
Not Just Bikes has a video on a town that basically has like no traffic because of the way they've laid everything out and designed stuff. And the city is super fucking quiet, even in relatively dense areas. Because without cars, what's the loudest shit in a city, man? It's going to be like, what? People talking? What's the noise from? Birds?
I mean, you live where I live, the train.
City life is that
It's kind of fucking loud, and it's loud for a lot of reasons. My bike is the loudest when it is going the fastest, and when it is going the fastest is when I am on the highway. Highways like I-5 here usually run right through the major cities because that's where we've chosen to put most of our sound pollution. Even cars without loud mufflers make a lot of noise because 4 wheels or more slamming over the ground over and over and over all day long is fucking loud. Highways are where semi-trucks go, those vehicles with 50,000 plus pounds and 18 wheels. Those braking systems are also loud as shit. Oh yeah. Love that. Ah! Hold on. Listen to that bus. Beautiful sound of public transit.
Look, I love this video because he's like walking around, but it's not just like randomly like a vlog style video. You know what I mean? He's walking around and he's illustrating the point.
You know, some people convert from bicycles to motorcycles, but for the most part, people are converting to motorcycles from cars. The people that swap to a motorcycle are part of the solution in a city. They are reducing their overall noise and pollution output. They are shrinking themselves, and they are making more space for other people on the roadway. So when I see people like Bosch go off on motorcycles, it indicates to me that there's something else at the core of this issue. And unlike other internet people whose closest brushes to violence are when people dox them, motorcycle riders experience real violence in the real world. That's why I find this nonchalant attitude that people like Bosch have towards calling for violence against motorcycle riders to be...
He chooses violence, chat. He chooses violence. And you barely chose not violence today. Congratulations, right? Like I said, Sunday chose violence. I chose violence, but you chose restraint, and that means something, okay? That's important.
Really disgusting. Let me show you how...
We came really fucking close, though. We came really fucking close to... Like, this could be me talking about motherfucker.
Words and attitude manifest in the real world.
Like, everyone...
No. I'm so glad we're covering this.
Hates you. Quit being selfish. You live in a community, in a society. I'm not joking. Quit being selfish. Nobody likes you. You're like the motorcyclists who take the mufflers off, so everyone within a quarter mile is subjected.
Vosh really hates motorcyclists.
To deafening noises purely to signal to everyone that you have a tiny penis. Like, stop.
In the current online politics culture, there are all...
Oh no, I'm like worried now, Chad. I'm worried that Bosch is going to get debunked in real time here. Like, no, but this is a YouTube video, so...
A lot of sarcastic calls to violence. You know exactly what this looks like. Say a shitty opinion and then add, in a video game. Like, that's just some universal way of transforming an irresponsible statement into a funny joke. I think all that's...
No, the funnier joke, right? The funnier joke is like the... FBI or CIA or whoever like listening in on your Discord call while you're gaming, and you know, as they hear you saying like, you know, horrible stuff, dangerous stuff, violent stuff, like, right, that sounds like an actionable plan. The SWAT team arrives at your house. It starts to prepare the battering ram. They got the battering ram going, right? I'm doing the chair fucking now, Chad. Physical comedy here. You got the battering ram. You're ready to just, like, you know how they pull it back a few times and then just like boom into the thing? They're ready to do that. But all of a sudden over their earphone, they hear, we're calling it off, folks. We're calling it off. It's, they probably don't call them folks, but like, right. We're calling the raid off. They just said in a video game. The whole plans to do massive terrorism on a major scale, right? And but then at the end they're like in a video game, and the FBI, the CIA, like everybody, they call it off. They call it off. They're like, oh shit, in a video game, right? Because the way people say in a video game is this, as if it like makes anything okay, right? That you could do, like Trump could confess to plotting January 6th himself, and if he said in a video game, it would not count.
Pretty cringe, because
actually it wouldn't, because go to the Supreme Court and they'd ensconce in a video game into the Constitution just to get Trump out of trouble. They absolutely would, chat. That would be disastrous.
This is not how people who are mentally prepared to commit violence actually talk. It's just edgy internet shit. And that's why I generally don't give a fuck when I hear it. But Vaush's rant was different in a couple of ways.
I really do think that it's in large part due to like social anomie, because I really think that in a functioning society, any motorcyclist who removed their muffler, once they had to stop at a red light, they actually would be like beaten by a mob. Okay, so some people might think I'm exaggerating here, because I often do. I want to make it clear that I'm not. I actually think that in a functioning society, you're removing the muffler from a motorcycle is a deliberate decision that does nothing but cause hearing damage to people. It's literally, what if for no reason I made everyone around me upset? You know, like genuinely, I genuinely think that in a functioning society, it would be met with like some degree of like violent response. Like it.
What? What? This is some Xanderhall levels of unhinged. It is. Oh my god, chat. I hate being right. I hate being right about this. But this is another parallel. And it's not by accident. It's not by chance that the people that make up this group have so much in common that's so fucked up and so disturbing. And again, yeah, the same fucking shit. Wow. Actually, chat, do you know why this guy got banned from Twitch? I think he, like, advocated glassing Israel. Right? Like, he used to be very different in terms of his takes. And that was one which, yeah, was too spicy for Twitch.
Saying to me that like the cities don't crack down on that, you know, those people should be arrested.
First, and as we just went over, calling for violence against motorcycle riders when you clearly don't understand motorcycles or the traffic management system is a pretty fucking shitty thing to do. Second, he expressly stated that this wasn't a joke. And you can say, well, that's just another layer of sarcastic meta humor. But like, at what point do you have to actually own the fucking things that you say?
My wife had her eardrum ruptured from no muffler. She was in a tunnel and he revved right next to her when she had the window open. Holy shit, Xdeddy. I'm so sorry to hear that. Jesus fucking Christ. Immediate violence? Yeah, that's like a draw on the motorcycle next to you with your fucking car gun moment right there. Holy shit.
So that's what he said.
What saps all the humor about the situation for me is that I've had like a dozen people initiate violent conflict on me using their cars and their guns and justifying it by saying my behavior on my motorcycle was dangerous.
So the shit that Vaush just said, right? As much as we think it's a streamer just popping off, it's real. It happens.
The most famous one was when a detective drew his gun on me while I was just sitting in traffic waiting to go to work back in 2017.
How you doing?
Oh shit! What are you doing to me?
What do you mean? What am I doing?
What are you?
Fucking driver.
Hi, why do you have a gun on me? I'm unarmed. I'm an unarmed. I will pull over. I'm unarmed.
Take your ID right now.
I'm going to
take your ID out. You move to this bike, I'm gonna dump you.
If you're looking for the logic and why he snuck up from behind me and pointed a gun at my chest, well, don't waste too much time because he's a cop and cops just make shit up. The real reason is that I sped past him in traffic. And so when he caught up to me at that stoplight, he decided that he was going to initiate his own
He really chose violence, didn't he?
Personal scared straight program, which is why he drew his gun before he ever left his vehicle and why he never wrote me a ticket. He had no legal justification to do this. It was road.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's really good. I hope he got a lot of that $65,000. I'm sure some of it went to lawyers, but god damn, that's another video of his. Okay. Wow.
rage, and the end result of it could have been me getting shot, like happens every day with American police over non-violent crimes that have no victims. I'm pretty cool, calm, collect in these situations because I've gotten a lot of practice with people using their cars or their guns to try to threaten me in the middle of traffic for their own selfish reasons. I talked about the step-by-step process I go through when I have these conflicts in a video I made last December.
So this is how you should be YouTubing. The thing that he's doing where he's in a video and he's talking about other videos on his channel, that is what I should be doing. That is what that is great YouTubing. That is some quality. Look, I appreciate the good YouTubing.
After a firefighter chased me down in Christmas traffic and threatened to shoot me because I filtered past him at a stoplight. Riding a motorcycle to the front of stopped traffic like this is called filtering, and it's an extremely safe and simple riding strategy. I'm going to get more into techniques like filtering and lane splitting later, but understand that right now this is illegal in my state of Washington, but it's going to be legal in 6 states as of 2025, and it's an extremely common practice in most of the world.
You're fucking a piece of shit.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna shoot me? Oh, you gonna come at me?
Don't laugh, don't laugh. This is scary. This is scary.
Hey, are you mad?
He might do something bad.
Fucking car alone, just chilling? Is that why you're mad? Are you mad because I just passed you in traffic and that's all that happened? Because literally nothing else happened. Nobody died. Everything's fine. Isn't that wild?
These people mask their aggressive actions with paper-thin justifications that fall apart under the lightest scrutiny. And when I called this dude out on it, he showed his true colors.
You should get a motorcycle. They're so much faster. You don't really need to like sit in this, like, these are expensive. They consume, you're burning up the fucking road, you know? It's really pretty selfish to sit in the car, really. To drive alone in a car. What are you doing? Are you getting groceries? You going to work?
Yeah.
It's funny because it's really impotent. You can't do anything. You're going to record. I hope you upload this to TikTok and give me a whole bunch of views. People are going to love me.
Some people in this country.
Content brain. Wow. I mean, it is good content. Wow. Wow. I don't know this guy, but this is one of the best YouTube essays I've ever seen. This is so good. This is so good.
Have a mentality that riding a motorcycle is the equivalent to cheating the traffic system instead of working around it. These negative emotions are amplified by the psychology of being in a car.
Like, I can see why people get like that, I guess. Like, I mean, not that I'm like excusing it, but I mean, it's just weird.
Which makes us feel less vulnerable than those who are outside of one. This makes motorcycle riders lightning rods for the most unhinged people out there on our roads. What's at the center of every insincere complaint about motorcycles in this country is just crabs in a bucket mentality.
The only thing it is actually crabs in a bucket. It is. My pause game is on point.
Crab is good for is holding back other crabs. Crab is like, if I'm gonna die, we all gonna die.
Or the more nuanced way that my buddy Phil described it, which is that
American culture is predicated on the crippling fear that someone, somewhere, is getting something they don't deserve.
In cars, you get stuck in these shitty situations where you're powerless to do anything, like traffic. And that can build resentment in people where they see others avoiding that misery, even if they had to accept a totally different set of trade-offs to do so. These people are one of the reasons why I make sure I am always moving forward on the roadway.
Okay, look, I'm afraid to ride my bike by a line of cars because if you're too close to a car, if it's parked, you know what I mean? Like, there's some chance that that door is going to swing open. And that is bad news. That is bad news. But like, to be going through a line of cars on either side, I don't know. I mean, some people do this in a bike. This YouTuber reminds me why YouTube urbanism content is necessary information, not just bikes, city beautiful, city nerds, strong towns, etc.
Never stopping and giving an opportunity for people to use me as an outlet for their anger. When I tell these stories, the most
Marina says I rollerblade past them. So far, so good.
frustrating response I get is people saying, hey, just drive by the
Yeah, it's that dang dad.
rules and everyone will leave you alone.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Setting aside that this is victim blaming and telling me that I need to be in charge of managing other people's emotions on the roadway when I'm just doing my best to get to fucking work, you need to understand that there is no amount of just follow the rules that is going to eliminate these conflicts on our roadways. And I will demonstrate with one last deadly story. In 2018, I interviewed a writer named Bree, who was riding her motorcycle during rush hour traffic from Seattle to Tacoma when an older man got out of his SUV
Oh no, Tacoma wept.
and initiated a conflict with her. She wasn't breaking any laws or driving in a way a car wouldn't.
At 25, 30, leave space so I don't have to downshift and then upshift again and then downshift and then stop. And so I just like to leave plenty of room in front of me so I can just roll. I mean, anyone with a manual car or a motorcycle knows you off some leaving space so you're not stopping and going. We come back to another
meow.
and I leave another gap. And at this point, he is no longer okay with me leaving that gap. Like, he gets, boom, right on my rear tire. Like, he is right there, at least 2-3 feet behind me. And so I take off and he stays with me. Right on me. He's in the shoulder and he is jerking his car at me. Our lane comes to a stop. Drop my bike into neutral and look back. As I'm looking, I see in my mirror and I see a fucking door. The door is ajar. The door's open and I turn like this and he is fucking right there.
The conflict culminated with him taking her to the ground and getting on top of her, at which point she grabbed her concealed pistol from under her jacket, pointed it at him, fired one shot, leading him to lay on the ground and die right next to her.
We're waiting now to find out if charges are going to be filed.
God damn.
Rage incident shut down several lanes of I-5 last night and during rush hour. Troopers say that a female motorcyclist and a male driver pulled over near the King-Pierce County line. They got into some sort of argument, then it turned physical, and at some point shots were fired, and the man ended up dead.
You know, there's a lot of road rage in this area, especially with all the construction and the traffic. It's pretty bizarre to have it end in such a horrible way as this.
Bree was very fortunate to not be killed or locked up after that situation, but the trauma follows you forever.
Probably more personal than I would like to be. I did actually have to admit myself in because of everything that was going on with the things people were saying, like it. And just the thoughts in your head, it definitely makes you not kind of want to be here and deal with that kind of stuff. And so I had to submit in for to be put on suicide watch because I wasn't in my right mind or to know what was going on with my body because I didn't know why I was crying. I didn't know why I was feeling angry. I didn't know why I couldn't. I was sleeping 16 hours a day.
As a 38-year-old man who can do handstand push-ups, owns several guns, and years of experience dealing with these situations on the road, I am pretty confident in my ability to handle these people.
Are these guys gonna hurt us, Walter?
No, Don.
So wait,
but the motorcycle.
A lot of these. So like a lot of this content is like on. Like stuff that happens to him riding.
The community as a whole is incredibly diverse and filled with people like Bree who also have to deal with this dangerous reality for motorcycles in America. Hopefully it's crystal fucking clear why I think even jokingly suggesting that people use guns against loud motorcycle riders on the streets the way that Bosch did is a completely irresponsible statement from a public figure. Bosch clearly has a hyper focus on motorcycle sounds in an environment filled with things that are as bad or worse. And he doesn't even seem to understand the basics of why a motorcycle would be loud. So aggressive and violent rhetoric isn't just antisocial behavior, it's fucking dangerous.
Grow up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude.
All right, let's zoom out and go back to the next major complaint that Vosh had related to how people ride motorcycles. My goal by the end of this is to have you appreciating everybody who chooses to ride a motorcycle, regardless of how loud they are. And I'm going to give you as many compelling reasons as I can think of to switch to one yourself.
Vosh, because of you, I sold my car. I'm so much happier, less bills, less parking, and the ability to meet people on public transit. Yeah, no, I genuinely, if your city can accommodate it, I genuinely think in a lot of cases, or having a car that you basically never use, you know, that just like sits in your garage or in front of your garage, and for the most part, you don't use it, you know? Though it obviously varies. Like if you can get away with not having a car, it's great.
The cost of owning and maintaining a car is one of the biggest expenses for working class Americans, contributing to their inability to save money for things that would make their lives better or just help them weather emergencies. The
YS says, I used to be a motorcycle hater, but to be honest, he won me over.
Average price for a car sold in 2023 was $47,000. That's more than I made a year until I was in my mid-20s. My top of the line luxury performance motorcycle cost half that. In 48 states, you're required to find a private, for-profit company to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars a year to do literally nothing unless you have a severe crash. And if they do cover it, you've still got to pay the deductible, which is going to be hundreds or thousands of dollars. But don't worry, the insurance companies will jack up your rates to get that money on the back end. You also have to pay taxes in a variety of forms: licensing, registration, parking, gas, tolls, all of which are theoretically used to maintain the roadways. But don't worry, we're going to come back to that one. Speaking of maintenance, cars need a fuck ton of it, with the most common stuff being oil, brakes, filters, tires, belts, coolant, fuses, shit like that. There's an entire industry built around keeping millions of cars on the roads functioning, costing even more money and taking up space. You can save money by buying an older...
Yeah, Metal, he was saying that earlier in the video, that like there's a lot of stuff that's loud in the city.
...car, but eventually something major is going to break on every vehicle, and you're going to need to decide if you front thousands of dollars to repair it or buy another car. I've got a beater truck to trailer my bikes, take my pets to the vet, and haul shit occasionally, which I paid about $7,000 for. The water pump started leaking less than 2 years later, and the only place that would touch a 99 Toyota was the dealership. And getting that repaired ended up costing me another
Gosh, just 100% bike curious. Oh.
$1,000. Okay, sure. Cars are really expensive, but at least they're really fun to use, right? Right?
Like they have no utility the way that a car has. You can't really like carry groceries with a motorcycle.
This is my backpack. How do you carry stuff on a motorcycle? Motherfucker, I do all my grocery shopping on my motorcycle.
Oh, come on. That's not even all of it.
Go more often. What more do you need?
Regardless of how much you spend on a car, the reality of using them on American roads is a...
Wait, I was going to say, there's also like, you can put like saddle bat, isn't there some kind of like bag you can put on your motorcycle? Or like, I think some of them have like compartments, right? I don't know how big they are, but...
a frustrating and tedious experience. So many roadways are grids of
all my groceries, 80 beers.
Stoplights and stop signs separated by straight highways that are mind-numbingly boring to drive when they aren't packed with cars. But they often are, and sitting in traffic is an excruciatingly miserable experience, especially if you don't have enough money to afford a nice car. Single occupancy vehicles take up an unnecessary amount of space and increase traffic more than anything else. As traffic increases, so do collisions and conflict between drivers, amplified by the way cars impact our mental state. Like in traffic, you are stuck on the road in your car until other people let you leave. That's a terrible feeling. Cars make you feel isolated, less connected to your environment and the other people in it, which amplifies
yeah, this is like the zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance stuff.
Negative emotions that become violent actions that are made more dangerous by being in control of a 6-ton piece of heavy machinery.
Oh my God.
When I lived in Everett and worked downtown Seattle, I had a 25-mile commute.
Oh my God.
So I did the math between how long it took me on my motorcycle versus the car to see how much time I was saving. I worked 5 days a week, and the trip averaged 50 minutes a day each direction in the car, but was about 35 minutes on my motorcycle. So that's 15 minutes saved each direction, 30 total, multiplied by 260 working days a year, then divide that by 60 to convert it into hours, and then divide that again by 24, and you get 5 whole days a year I saved just by riding a motorcycle. 5 more days a year is a lot more time hanging out with my partner, assisting with domestic chores, walking the dog, or just educating myself.
I just don't get why anyone would want to ride one, man. It's not going to get you there that much faster. You're just bored. Put on a podcast, you know?
Vosh telling people who are just trying to find ways to cut down the week or so a year they waste commuting, just listen to a podcast, is fucking insulting. And it demonstrates how detached from the lived experiences of millions of working class Americans he is. Wasting your hard-earned time, money, and making you feel less free would be bad enough to justify the fuck cars mantra. But they might also kill you. We've established that cars are expensive and shitty to use. So why do people do it? Well, there's at least one big lie I hear people tell about motorcycles all the time that I think is the biggest reason people stick with cars. So let me dispel that next.
You know when you're driving down the highway late at night and you're going 80 miles an hour because fuck the police, but you're like holding 80 and you're fine at 80 and the rest of the cars are going 80, and then you hear behind you and some freak going 126 miles an hour, like fucking,
I feel like
swerving through the consistent traffic, you know? Vosh, I'm that freak not lying. That's crazy. Fuck you. Fuck you. What's wrong with you, dude? Get your thrills somewhere else, okay? Man, go fuck a girl or something. Stop getting your thrills from that. Find a constructive outlet.
Regardless of the benefits to the rider or society, the general narrative about motorcycles is that they are far more dangerous than cars. The logic this lens is built from isn't compatible with building a safe society for all road users. I'm going to tell you the story about Seattle police officer Kevin Dave, who has his car to thank that he is alive today. Officer Kevin Dave responded to a 911 call for someone who said that maybe they were overdosing on cocaine. Was Officer Kevin Dave racing against time to save the life of an overdosing drug user? No. He was going there to be an escort for the ambulances and fire that do in fact do the EMT work. Was there something that made Officer Kevin Dave believe that if he didn't get there immediately, somebody's life would be in danger? No. Is there any particular reason that this incident seemed like it would escalate into violence? No. And stop asking questions. And something violent did happen, but it didn't happen to the person who called 911. Officer Kevin Dave accelerated his patrol car up to 74 miles per hour on this street right here. And he hit John V. Kandula at this crosswalk, killing her. Officer Kevin Dave did everything he could to ensure he didn't hurt anybody with his actions, including turning on his lights and his sirens, and Ms. Kandula's death is just an unfortunate accident, a confluence of mistakes on her part. Kandula caused her own death by failing to correctly estimate the officer's speed, which was almost triple the limit, and by not wearing her full face helmet and was instead just wearing AirPods, which is incredibly irresponsible behavior if you're going to be anywhere near the roadway or crossing it. Are you crossing the roadway? The truth is that if Officer Kevin Dave was riding a motorcycle that night, nobody would have died. He would have either missed her or she would have been able to dodge a vehicle that was 1/5 the size. But the real reason Kandula would be alive today is because Officer Kevin Dave would not have been driving at 74 miles per hour if he was on a vehicle like that. Because he wouldn't have felt safe. He would have realized that this was entirely possible. He could have hit someone and that could have killed him as much as that person. And we just operate differently when we're not protected from our mistakes. Cops.
Yo. Chat, do you know anybody who's protected from their mistakes? Maybe like the subject of this video?
3 incredibly dangerous things that come together thousands of times every day with extremely predictable and deadly results. Okay, so hopefully I have made my point that To look at motorcycles and say, that's more dangerous than the car, requires you to basically laser focus in on the safety of the driver to the exclusion of everyone else.
Exceeding the speed limit is a mistake or a bad decision, whatever way you want to characterize it. But whether or not you die while exceeding the speed limit, that's a matter of the conditions you faced. The nature of the road, the nature of your vehicle, the nature of the other vehicles on the road. Much of traffic engineering is based on manuals written in the 1940s and 50s when this country was heavily invested in building highways all across the country. So not only was it based on limited data and poor data collection, it was based on highways, where like most of the time when you or I are going to get killed on the road on a bike or walking or on a motorcycle, it's in an intersection. It's in an urban or suburban environment that's full of conflict. It's not just getting people from point A to point B at the same time.
When you analyze all the predictable and so preventable traffic deaths each year, it's impossible to ignore how much destruction cars create. 90% of motorcycle deaths are the rider. Cars kill tens of thousands of people every year on top of the millions that are injured. And that's spread between the driver, passengers, people in other cars, and people just existing on the roadway, like John V. Cars are bought and sold almost entirely on the safety and the comfort of the driver, and not the people that are going to be around that driver when they inevitably make a mistake. Nobody can drive perfectly all of the time. Even professional racers at the top of their game will tell you that they almost never have a perfect lap. And even small errors behind the wheel of a car can lead to devastating harm. It's easy to forget about all this danger because cars are advertised based on their onboard Wi-Fi and leather seats and fucking giant touchscreens. The latest and greatest convenience feature, which used to be talked about as a safety feature, is automation. No, the real selling point for automation was always going to be about paying less attention to the roadway and letting a computer handle the driving. See, that way you're totally free to play on your phone, watch a movie, take a nap, anything but drive the fucking car.
New at 11, have you heard about this guy or have you even seen him? He says it's a magical experience and he's going to keep doing it. We hear from the test.
Is that legal? Is that legal?
Not to drive at all. Instead, he puts the car in autopilot and there you see him. He sits in the back seat.
What's up, bro? You really like that? You really like it back there?
Yeah, so I feel safer back here than I do up there.
Well, what about for other people if something happened to the
I can control it like this.
So that's how fast you can get to the wheel?
Yeah. Feel me? That's how fast I can get to.
No.
Shout out Elon Musk. You feel me?
Chat. Do you feel me? Shout out Elon Musk. Oh my God. That should be in a time capsule. If the civilization ends in an idiocracy like cascade of ridiculous decisions, I feel like that should be in the time capsule. That should be in the last satellite that we send out into deep space, right? That right there. You want to understand our society and why it ended? Whoop, whoop. Shout out Elon Musk. There we go. That's it. Autopilot. Engaged. God damn.
Fuckheads like Elon Musk are obsessed with pushing self-driving technology onto society as fast as possible because they don't want to have to drive their fucking cars and they hate interacting with people because
Look, I feel like a lot of chat is going to sleep. I want to watch the rest of this video sometime, but this is the part that looks really interesting. Why I stopped watching Vosh.
It was especially close to my heart.
So about a year ago.
Wait, sorry, I didn't do that right.
Very wisely, very sensibly. All J.K. Rowling.
No, I was supposed to be like, why I stopped watching Vosh.
Had to do was shut the fuck up, and she could have been almost uncritically beloved for like a century. Okay. And then I followed.
Oh no.
Women be quiet.
I remember this. Tactical misogyny. Giving J.K. Rowling everything she always wanted. She always accused, like, trans rights advocates of being misogynistic, but she never had any evidence to prove it with until this.
Apologizing challenge. So, obviously, that is a misogyny.
You're glad I'm streaming this late?
Argue around that one. I would argue that it's a very obviously like a light misogyny.
I called him out, tweeting, doing...
Chat, I'm kind of Hassan now, right? I'm doing Hassan hours. I'm not living in a mansion, though. I'll have to wait on that one.
Edgy, ironic misogyny while defending trans people magnifies the grain of truth in what TERFs say about there being misogyny in trans activism.
I stopped watching Bosch after he had an interaction with someone who inspired me to be a better creator and a better person. ContraPoints.
What? That's who got you out of Vosh? She's the real de-radicalizer. Natalie.
It wasn't even what Natalie...
Tweeting, doing edgy, ironic misogyny while defending trans people magnifies the grain of truth in what TERFs say about there being misogyny in trans activism.
I stopped watching Bosch after he had an interaction with someone who inspired me to be a better creator and a better person.
That's what did it.
ContraPoints. It wasn't even what Natalie said about him that led me to stop watching Bosch.
Do I like ContraPoints? I was an old ContraPoints viewer. I watched those videos when they came out, and she inspired me in many ways. But I have not always agreed with everything that Natalie has said and done over the years. I do appreciate what she's contributed. And honestly, if you haven't watched her, like, old videos like Decoding the Alt-Right, it is worth looking into. But yeah, there's been a lot of choices. Let's just put it that way. There's been a lot of choices that Natalie has made, and
it was the way he reacted to her critique that I felt demonstrated a clear lack of character. If I hadn't spent so much time at that point talking to trans people and paying attention to the higher level conversations being had about them, I might not have fully understood the significance of her statements or why Vosh's response was so fucked up. After I made a video explaining why, as a lifelong athlete, I would rather see us change sports or the mentality around them than exclude trans people from them, I learned a lot about the reasons people had specifically against allowing trans women to compete with cis women in sports. Most of the comments expressing anger that trans women's advancements in society, like becoming more visible, supported, and accepted, came at the cost of cis women's rights, when in actuality, the entirety of women's rights was growing as a whole. Engaging with those comments made it very clear that these people didn't give a single shit about women's rights, and in fact had a very low opinion of what women were capable of. The clearest example of this is a movie I would
Lady Ballers.
Absolutely never fucking waste my time watching, but you can find a million reviews of, called Lady Ballers.
In a world where women's sports is being transformed, the Daily Wire calls foul with the most triggering comedy of the year.
Sports can be your pathway to a better life.
Well, like yours?
Don't worry, it's racist too, goddamn.
Please don't steal my catalytic converter again.
Even though these arguments are incredibly dishonest, the people making them understand that the core nugget of protecting women is very persuasive, especially to people who casually pay attention to this stuff or don't know any trans people. And that brings us back to what Vosh did. Let's look at it from the lens of someone who doesn't understand these deep nuances of the conversation and instead just sees it casually on Twitter. Vosh is a man who is nominally on the left somewhere, telling J.K. Rowling, a cis woman, that she needs to shut up in response to her arguments that trans women come at the sacrifice of cis women. This is Contra's critique, and Bosch agreed that it was misogynist, so I expected this to end with him humbling himself for a moment, apologizing, and adjusting his behavior going forward. And if that was what happened, I would be totally happy to move past it. But what actually happened was he ran to his platforms to make excuses and attack her. First he said, that's not that big a deal.
You weren't...
Like, look, think about it this way. If somebody does a fucked up thing, I don't know. What am I trying? I'm trying to make it like a Supreme Court metaphor here, right? Like a politician or a leader does something fucked up or bad. It's pretty bad, right? Like, you know, they're establishing at least a norm of like, you know, like violating people's rights, right? Which does happen, and it does get normalized, right? I talked about the McCarthyite period earlier, where the very institutions of democracy were used to suppress free speech. Like, that's bad. And if they get away with it, then it's really bad because it's normalized. But what's even worse is when they get, you know, called, you know, they get, you know, like somebody takes them to court over it and it goes to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court decides, no, actually, that's cool. That's okay. It wasn't illegal before, but we're going to change the law now and you can totally suppress the fuck out of, I don't know. It just feels like there's something about the audience being able to turn fucked up shit into being totally all right if the audience is big enough and parasocial enough, and if the content creator can convince them that like he is a good in and of himself, right? Then something that's really fucking obvious that we all accept, like that you shouldn't be a misogynist, you shouldn't give J.K. Rowling an example that she should never have. You shouldn't use trans people the way that he did, because what he relies on then is like, she's a bad person. And she is. So therefore I should be misogynist to her. And it's all right. It's all right. It's okay, you know? And they're like, yeah, of course. Hey, if you don't agree, you must like J.K. Rowling. It's just so fucking bad the way that he can twist people's perception like this.
Defending the misogyny, correct? Well, no, my argument with the misogyny thing is that I don't care. I don't think that I've said anything more misogynistic than what Contra's said.
He complained that she didn't bring these things to him privately, failing to understand that it's not her responsibility to protect his image, ego, or waste her time with someone who has a reputation for doubling down on the shitty things he does.
It did bother me when I saw these tweets from Contra, because like, I don't know. She'd been on my stream like twice or three times before. I feel like if you have an issue with something I've said, you could tell me, like, I don't know, directly, but...
He said, it's okay that...
Wait, Chad, he has the Trump ear thing. No, I think he had keloids or something, but...
He does it because Contra makes jokes about women. Apparently not understanding the difference in poking fun at your own identity versus the identity of other marginalized people.
But I feel like Contra often makes kind of light, self-deprecating, misogynistic jokes. This is something trans women will do a lot, where when they make a mistake, they'll do like a, oh, haha, well, you know, the women, huh, thing, which it's like a self-affirming identity thing. She's done.
That's insulting. I don't know what to say. That's insulting. That's insulting. That is...
Done it a few times. If would we argue then, like, okay, well that is also like, you're gonna like this is misogyny that's amplifying the worst elements of the movement?
He called her fragile and described her critique as random drama before pumping up his own ability to deal with
I feel like that's a stereotype that I wasn't even aware of, but there it is. There it is. Trans women be like.
Back on social media with no awareness that the way people would attack a man will of course be less damaging than the attacks against a trans woman. Come the fuck on, dude.
She's so fragile. Yeah, well, the thing that bothers me is that Contra knows how much tactics like her own hurt people. Contra's literally been like,
good night, Ezzy.
Driven to like opiate addiction, relapsing, and alcoholism because of the behavior of Twitter woke scolds.
See, he's counting on the camaraderie of the accused, right? This is what he counts on with people like Contra. Well, Contra, you've been people have tried to cancel you too. Like, you know, you gotta support me, Contra. You gotta be like, it's okay. He didn't really mean it. He totally gave J.K. Rowling the exact quote retweet that she was looking for, but it's okay. The funny thing about the tactical misogyny is that there's like nothing tactical about it except for him. It gets him more attention. It gets him noticed, but it fucks over trans people.
Her of anybody to be really sympathetic to how like I don't know, damaging it can be to do like really random drama id pull attacks for no reason other than to like from like that kind of stuff.
NPC sounding.
It's not really as much of a risk for me because I'm
He's doing those id pull attacks. Oh my god, you fucking NPC, Vosh.
Obviously handle criticism better than she does.
And then he called her a crybaby while being a crybaby.
I guess I can't really be too mad about things. She makes one video a year, and every time she gets in trouble online, it destroys her emotional state.
He's salty.
I just wish she would be more respectful of other people's emotional state, because even if it doesn't affect me as much, like, it's still bad to do, you know? There's nothing that I respect less more than the pithy crybaby abuse of people who have less tolerance for disagreement than you know? So because they're more easily hurt, they assume that, like, it's okay for them to hurt others, because in any direct engagement between them and others, they'll always be the one who, like, feels worse after, which was no doubt the case with me, too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have spent a year simmering before releasing a response to drama that was a year old.
It blew me away that this is how he would respond to valid critique about an issue impacting trans people. From a trans woman whose work has elevated the conversation for millions of others and has been extremely open about her challenges being a public figure and transitioning on YouTube. I was really disappointed that he would treat a creator I looked up to like this, but I was fucking enraged that he was bringing down the trans community as a whole with his inability to demonstrate humility in the face of such blatant punching down on that community.
Like, everyone hates you. Quit being selfish. You live in a community, in a society. I'm not joking. Quit being selfish.
A lot of people have negative perceptions of terms like ally, and Vosh is a perfect example of why. Many so-called allies, especially in the online communities, perpetuate antisocial behavior under the guise of helping progressive movements, when really they are focused on building up their own personal brands, and they don't give a shit who they step on to get there. Watching Vosh, a white man who built his career as a leftist progressive, excuse shitting on women because a trans woman does it, was so disappointing to me as someone who had consumed so much of his content. That's how my perspective of Vosh and people like him changed. From feeling like he was edgy and somewhat problematic, but an overall positive influence to the online space, to just another dude creating conflict for clout and money.
This frustration I have, where other people treat me poorly, and then I go to my subreddit, and you guys are like, well, hold on, Vosh really did fuck up here. And then I do a stream, and I go over how I didn't.
He's so freaking entitled. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I shouldn't care. I shouldn't care, because I can see him. He's like just in the midst. Like, he doesn't fucking get it. He's like locked into this delusion that chat should fucking validate his bullshit. It's like, I feel silly for being angry about it, because he literally can't help it.
Up, and then you guys change. You're like, oh, well, and usually it's because the person who criticized me is a woman or is trans or is black, and you're all more
No, it sucks to see this shit. It sucks to see this shit.
Sympathetic to their perspective because years of lefty conditioning has made you all little bitches who automatically...
You got the lefty conditioning. Let me teach you how to be right-wing. Let me teach you how to be a right-wing leftist. There we go. Thanks, Vosh. This is his innovation. This is the edgy boy messiah. Behold.
agree with arguments.
God Emperor Vosh. Okay, no, it wouldn't be. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up Leto at the second and Paul, I think. Anyway, chat, I am mixing up my doom.
Made them is from a minority group, like what Contra did when arguing with me, which is embarrassing. Now, as an addendum to all of this, I will simply say this was not a personal attack on anyone. I am very, very, very negatively disposed towards motorcycles and motorcyclists. I'm sorry, the community of motorcyclists in general is polluted with awful people. That is a fact. You are not innately bad because you ride X or Y or whatever. I just have, 20 years of memories in LA of cars driving back and forth like at a moderate volume outside of my family's house, and that every once in a while you hear the deafening roar of a motorcyclist like 2,000 feet away because they just decided to do that. And they would do it at like 11 p.m. or something. And that was like pretty common,
Let me close out this video by first sincerely thanking Bosch, because although I've made shorts around several arguments in this video, I've wanted to put it all together for people in one place for years, but I just struggled to find the right jumping off point for that conversation. It's not easy to expose the systems underneath society to everyday people when they're trained to blame individuals for systemic problems. And it's even harder to connect that to their day-to-day struggles. But I think Americans are beginning to wake up to the reality that the deck is stacked against us. And so if we want things to get better, we need to be thinking bigger. It took me over 30 years to realize that the people I'd entrusted with building the traffic management system are too corrupt or ignorant to admit the nightmare of a future they're constructing for all of us, and that I needed to start connecting with other people in order to fix it. But to connect with people, you need to empathize with them, because that's what allows you to see common ground as well as the points of contention. You'll never agree with anyone 100% on every issue, and we all have finite time and energy to fight for what we believe in. So you gotta choose your battles. This video wasn't a battle worth my time until Vosh said a bunch of silly things about motorcycles.
But fuck motorcycles.
Oh, wait.
Then it became the perfect vehicle to educate people on what...
I just noticed the blowhage. The blowhigh.
What's most important to me.
Chat, I had one for like a little while. For a short period of time. It was last summer, and like I had this like disaster where the place I was supposed to be, house sitting for a friend and helping her pay the rent, but the landlady locked her out and I didn't know that was happening. I had like no place to stay, so I ended up staying with a friend of hers, and their guest room had blowhage. They had a guest room, right, with blowhage, like the IKEA sharks. And I was just like, this is the best.
Me, teaching people how to live a happier, more fulfilled life through motorcycles and community. I'm a firm believer in the principles of restorative justice, and Vosh lives in the same Seattle community as me, so I am happy to forgive and move forward if he wants to work on himself and do better. When I talked about making this video in my Discord, people were super concerned that I was looking to pull out of context clips and attack him in bad faith, which is something that has definitely happened to him and
Has it though? I mean, it does happen a lot in streaming, but I feel like he just relies on that. I feel like he relies on that idea that's that's such a Vosh thing. People were like worried that I was gonna be bad faith. I was gonna do some woke scolding. I might pull a DJ Mule.
Every other person in the debate sphere.
People will say anything when they don't like you. That's why you can't take them seriously, you have to realize that if people dislike you, if they really dislike you and there's just a general like I don't know, air of dislike towards you, like they can just say whatever. There's no relationship between reality and
Wait, but that's what you do. That's what you weaponize against other people. What are you talking about, Vosh?
say, right?
It's bad when it happens to him. It's good when he does it to other people. Jesus Christ.
You can't like
I am so over Vosh. I'm so over this shit. It's
self-evaluate from people who irrationally hate you. That's just silly.
I feel like I have accurately represented Vosh's statements and provided all of the relevant context. But to make sure he doesn't feel that way, and because I think it's only fair, given that I provided him feedback on my platform of choice, that I give him the opportunity to provide me feedback on his platform of choice.
All video essayists despise the concept of debate because they're bad at it.
So he's willing to debate Vosh.
As a token of good faith, I am willing to invest in Vosh's growth by arranging a time to meet up with him around the Seattle area somewhere, and I will teach him to ride a motorcycle on my motorcycle.
You will put Vosh on your motorcycle?
This one, my stunt bike.
Oh, good, good.
Are you fucking kidding me? What I've learned from years of experience is that the easiest way to assuage anyone's concerns about motorcycles is just to put them on one. Obviously, I speak for nobody but myself, and I do think he owes a lot of people apologies. ContraPoints would definitely be one. Professor Flowers would be another, but my forgiveness is not contingent on repairing those relationships. I'm a pretty easy dude to get along with, so I'm happy to be a starting point in case he wants to show other people that he's serious about squashing beefs. I would if I was him, because the older I get, the more I realize it's hard to build deeply fulfilling horizontal relationships devoid of power imbalances with other people. So when I meet someone I connect with on my core values like ContraPoints, I would bury my pride so fucking fast to save that relationship. Vosh changing is not up to me. He doesn't even need to acknowledge this video, and he could choose to shit on it just like he did with Contras. We'll see what happens. Motorcycles are a pragmatic and utilitarian decision that lets responsible people take ownership of their safety. They're also fun as hell. If you're trying to tell me to stop sharing lanes, ripping wheelies, using bike paths, merging late, borrowing sidewalks, dragging knee, riding fast, and taking chances, I can tell you right now, I ain't gonna change.
And this bird you cannot change. Oh my god. Yeah, it's Freebird. It's Freebird. That's awesome. That's awesome. He ends it with Freebird. Vosh would be too scared to drive motorcycles, let's be honest. And this bird you cannot change. Okay, I gotta not sing. It's super late at night. I'm sure my roommates don't appreciate me being loud, and I really... Wait. Flag shirt biker man, yes. It's so freaking late, chat. I am, I just... I feel like I gotta do the thing, but you know, I gotta figure out how to do the thing on a more sustainable level, and at least we got a lot of content out of the way. Who was that YouTuber? Let me put his link in chat again for people. This is Squid Tips. Squid Tips. I need to slumber as well. Yeah, slumber party. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to crawl into my sleeping bag and disappear. And then pop back up in the morning and edit videos. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I had a lot of fun tonight. It was a little bit wild. Again, sorry about the technical difficulty. I'm really hoping that the RAM sticks make this different, because I'm pretty sure like that it was the what it was all the memes. Do you remember when I did the meme segment where I was talking about like the memes from 2008, and then I got the memes from 2016, and I was, you know, talking about Kamala Harris, the meme queen. Anyway, there was too many memes. It was the proliferation of memes. It's the fact that the memes are ever expanding and never contracting, and that causes memeflation, I believe they called it. And the memeflation meme-flated my RAM and my CPU to the point where OBS no longer worked for a split second. That's all it takes to kill the stream. So hopefully that'll be better again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Throne Gang. Oh my God, chat. You know what I haven't done, though? This is really bad. Hold on. All right. Okay. I'm going to thank my Patreons, all right? We have several tiers over there, and for anybody signing up for the $5 or higher tier, that is the Fancy Weasel tier, you get a fancy shout out every stream. And even if I forget to do it till the very end, which I shouldn't do, I'm going to do it at the very end anyway. So shouts out to Omega Star, shouts out to Jules K, shouts out to Just Julie, shouts out to Moe Noape, shouts out to Shaxba, shouts out to Funky Monkey, shouts out to Temporal Insanity, and shouts out to Zara Xerix. Thank you, Patreon gang, and thank you, Throne Gang. It's thanks to you that hopefully, if I can figure out how to put in RAM sticks, I'm not sure I know how, but I'll ask somebody. Put the RAM sticks in, and hopefully the computer runs a lot better with 16 extra gigabytes of RAM. So yeah, thanks everybody, and I will see you again either Friday or Saturday. And we need to do that premium streamium. I've been every single time I try to pull it off, something goes weird and it doesn't work, but we got to make it work. Because I got to tell you about JD Vance, Peter Thiel, and all these right-wing Silicon Valley weirdos who have way too much influence over all of our lives. Anyway, good night, chat. I'm gonna sleep now. I'm gonna fall asleep. Anyway.